What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode and live stream of Let's Get Nuts here on the Ben Thomas Show. Thanks for coming back. Guys, I have a wonderful panel of folks with me here today on the Sunday to talk a little bit about, of course, Superman. We're going to talk about the DC Universe, some things with regards to Supergirl, how we feel about the new representation now that's been teased. What's that universe going to look like kind of going forward with some of these DC teases that James Gunn has been talking about? We're also going to jump into the 6-scale news, of course, all of the Hot Toys goodness, including that Palpatine. We're going to talk a little bit about, of course, the Fantastic Four figures and everything in between. So guys, stick around. If you like the video, hit the like button, smash the subscribe if you're new to the Ben Thomas Show. And with that said, let's get nuts.
What are you doing? You're completely outnumbered here. Are you nuts? You want to get nuts? You want to get nuts?
You want to get nuts?
Want to get nuts? You want to get nuts? Come on, let's get nuts. Let's get nuts.
Let's get nuts.
Let's get nuts. Let's get nuts.
Alrighty, first, but of course, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. 1 Adam 12th is back in the house with us once again with a Superman shirt on. You love to see it. How you doing, buddy?
Absolutely. I'm good, Ben. How are you?
Good,
Just
man.
watched-
It's been Go ahead.
Yeah, I just watched Superman for the second time yesterday. I took the family. First time I saw it, I did a solo adventure. Took the family. They loved it. So, and we did a Superman movie marathon. My father-in-law had been a long time since he saw Superman the movie with Christopher Reeve. Then we saw Superman 2. Then we saw Superman in the theaters. And then last night we watched The Man of Steel. He had never seen that. It was
What did you think of the
interesting
Man of
getting his take.
Steel in comparison to the other
he
like
liked
the other
Man of
feels of
Steel.
it? He did, eh?
Now, my wife and daughter loved the Corn Sweat Superman, James Gunn Superman, as did I. But he did not care for it. He thought it was too. Maybe it's because the movie theater. He thought it was too loud. He really liked Man of Steel, and then he loves Superman 1 and 2, the Christopher
awesome.
Reeve films.
Yeah, of course. Superman 2, it's been a long time since I've seen, actually. It's a long time since I've seen it. But I recently got the Superman first film with Christopher Reeve on Blu-ray, or 4K, I guess it was, and watched that. And it was like, man, that takes me back to, being younger and just, having the hopeful Superman feel, and then seeing David now in his role and a kind of a similar vibrancy and hopefulness that comes out of him, right? So did you like the new Superman more on the second viewing or less on the second viewing?
I liked it more at the second viewing because a couple things that
Sweet.
either I didn't catch or maybe my initial reaction was like, "What? What's that?" After you know what helped seeing Superman the movie and Superman 2, again, that made me. You know what? There's some goofy things in that. So
Of course.
the things
Yeah,
that may
of
have rubbed me
course.
the wrong way, like, nah, this is part of Superman. Maybe it wasn't in Man of
Supposed to be
Steel,
fun.
but it's in the
Sure.
other Superman films.
Sure, yeah, for sure. And we're going to talk a little bit about Henry Cavill later this afternoon here as well, because some interesting things from James Gunn with regards to him. But of course, David Cornsweat, we're going to talk about Superman. I get to see it for a second time this coming Wednesday. I'm hoping that I like it more because I did really enjoy it on my first viewing. However, the person that I went with, he didn't like it. He gave it a low score. I gave it a high score. So it's interesting coming out with one of your buddies and having a very different gut check on how you felt about a film, right? It's kind of the fun part about it. So, But dude,
Absolutely.
thanks for being back as always here on Sunday, and happy birthday to your mom as well. By the way, I saw that on
Thank you,
Facebook
yes.
today. So shout out to the great one, the one that brought you into this world so you could be
Absolutely.
here for this today. So love to see it, buddy. Love to see it. Next, but of course, certainly not least, we've got a duo in the house again. We're not going to put them on Coldplay blast because they are the sweetest lovers of life. We got Jim and Vita back in the house. Her geeky side, Mr. Jim Collector.
guys.
How are you guys doing again today, my friends?
All good, thank you. Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we're happy to be here. Happy to be on the show. Nice Coldplay reference there as well. It's been
Good, yeah.
blowing up like you wouldn't believe.
I feel like it's the only thing on my Facebook, and I was gonna make it like a warm up, and I'm like, I think everybody's gonna already be sick of talking about this by the time we get there. But if you guys just strategically jump off the camera at any point, we know why. So I guess yeah, you guys love you. So, but so happy to have you guys here. Can't wait to hear what you guys have to say about Superman as well. We'll get into that here in the warm up, of course. But those figures are looking pretty crispy. And behind you guys, by the way, I saw that you finally got your Paul Atreides. I know that was one that you were waiting on pretty ridiculously.
Yes.
So
He came in
Yeah.
last week. I haven't had much chance to do anything. I literally opened him, whacked him in that pose there, and then that's it. I still need to do the video and just photos as well. You haven't even taken any photos of him.
No, I'm hoping to take some photos tomorrow. So.
Yeah, but it's an awesome looking.
Jim, did I
so
see
I'm glad
you
I found it.
opened the figure before Vita got home? Did that was there?
Yeah,
I thought I saw that. I was like, uh-oh.
Ruh-roh.
You've been waiting too long. I couldn't wait more.
That's right.
Actually, like the figure was keep getting delayed, and this is one of the figures. But well, I was like really waiting for it, and I wanted to be there, and like he's opening it, and then I literally had a meeting in London that day, and I had to be away all day. And next thing I know, I'm sitting there in a meeting, and like the message pops up, and I open, I'm like, fuck's sake. Why happened there? Like why?
That's fair.
But,
That's fair.
yeah.
Well, I'm glad to see you guys are still smiling about it. Any QC issues on that one? Because I remember I had like a couple of QC issues, including one slightly longer leg, which I'm still trying to figure out with Kit if that can be fixed. But
Yeah, I was talking to Shane about that. No, ours is fine because he got it as well, and I asked him for things to look at, and he mentioned that you said your leg was short on one of them. But no, I've had no issues. His nose plug seems good. I haven't actually taken that bit of tape off of the nose plug to try and put it in yet. So that'll be fun to see if that comes around. I found swapping the heads difficult the first time.
yeah.
Like
100%.
They
In
have
fact-
a video for it, and it's rubbish.
Yeah.
The video. It's not.
it's not helpful, and I honestly was looking through the instructions thinking that I had to take some piece of like the garment off in order to stick it in because the hole seemed too small. Which you hate to see it. So like I used the mask to sculpt in order to essentially kind of work the outfit a little bit so that I didn't totally mess the hair up, right? Because that's the one piece. Like it's got rooted hair. You don't want to squeeze it by the head and try
exactly.
and. Yeah, I was stressing. So it gets hot in this YouTube room sometimes too. So it was not fun. But
same here. Yeah.
I'm glad you guys had no
Oh,
casualties, no
practical.
weirdly long leg. Yeah.
No.
Exactly.
I can't believe that.
Guys, great to have you back. Thank you so much for being here, as always. Always appreciate your smiles and the awesomeness that you guys bring. Let's bring in one more panelist for the day. We got Mr. Pete from Only Fools and Collecting, a division of Collecting Weekly, here with us. And Pete, you're a mystery guest today because you thumbsed up all the posts, but I didn't know if you were coming, man. So I'm happy to see you here.
That meant, yeah, I'm in. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
fair.
Yeah.
Confirmation. How's life
No,
been for the last
good-
couple of weeks
good-
for you, bud?
Good to see everyone. Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm really dismayed as to how on earth has your figure got a leg longer than the others? Is it just not like, is the knee not pushed in, or have they put a leg on from Cavill's Superman? I mean, it
no
doesn't
idea.
make any sense whatsoever, does it? And I guess you haven't you haven't taken the suit off to see what's going on.
No, the suit is so well constructed that I almost don't know how to get it off. That's the problem. But I've now seen a couple other people out there just on Facebook groups that have had the same issue with one extra like long leg. Because like, I mean,
really
I've been
odd,
posing
yeah.
So weird.
I've been posing figures for 10 years, and when I mentioned it in the video, I had a couple of comments from people to be like, "Oh, Ben, like you just have to, readjust the hips slightly. Clearly, like his pelvis is out of line." Like, and I was like, "Guys, I tried everything. I wouldn't report on this if I couldn't like it's definitely longer on one side, but it's only just like half an inch." So it's just long enough that he has to have one leg out. He can't be standing straight up and down. So yeah, it's crazy, but
That's really weird.
and I got it through 1/6 Kit. So like Kit's he's interesting with his customer service because he's a little sharp sometimes. But
I've never had to. I mean, I use Kit all the time, and I've been buying from him for years,
Yeah.
but I've never had to send anything back, so I don't know how that side of things goes really.
he said he'd put basically a request in for another body for me, but that could take. He said it could take 6 months to a year. Like so,
Oh,
for now,
great.
I'm just stuck with it. But for the price of those figures, it's a lot. So, and I'm curious what you guys are going to say with regards to in art Superman and Hot Toy Superman while we go through our first warm up topic here. But Mr. Pete, Welcome back, dude. I don't know if you guys know this. I was in Nashville this last week, so it's the reason I was
Nice.
at least a day and a half late to virtually all of my preview videos that I did. But I got a little bit of sun, which was cool. I danced really horribly to country music. I am not a country music person, and I suck at line dancing, so don't take me if you want to look good dancing. But it was a good time with my coworkers and everything. But I missed the YouTube sphere, and I missed talking figures with you guys. So with that all said, let's jump into it here. So warm up today. This popped up to me, and this made me laugh because so far, obviously, David Cornsweet is kind of, he's the new Superman, right? So of course, naturally, us as collectors, whether you're 6 scale collectors, 1/12 scale collectors, doesn't really matter. Bobbleheads, NECA, doesn't matter. Obviously we're going to go searching for these figures if we loved the film, right? And I've been talking myself out of buying the McFarlane Superman at my local Walmart because I had told you guys that I already had a Hot Toys one pre-ordered. And then, see, there you go, right, Adam? Like, that looks freaking awesome on the camera, right? I had the Hot Toys one pre-ordered, and then I immediately pre-ordered the in-art one as well. And then I actually ended up canceling the Hot Toys one last week because I'm like, I just don't think that I need to, and I've talked myself out of buying a smaller scale. But I was wondering if any of these stood out to you guys as being horrendous, and any of them stood out to you as being pretty wonderful. And what is your decision making on Hot Toys versus in-art at this point if you're thinking about going in on a Superman figure? So like I just said, I'm definitely going to go in for the in-art one at this point. When I see these all on the screen, I actually think the McFarlane one looks kind of the worst, at least in terms of the face. I was surprised how good the KNU Toys one looks, and I've never even heard of that company before, which is pretty wild. But my overall thoughts on the movie, and I kind of mentioned at the beginning, I really enjoyed it. I'm very excited to see it a second time, and I'm excited to see what the DC Universe is going to bring us as a result, and we're going to talk about that in a few minutes. But Adam, I'll go to you first. Anything stand out here on the slide is really wonderful, really horrible? What was your decision making on Hot Toys versus in-art if you had to make the call? And give me your brief overview on the film. What did you like about it?
In terms of the figures, I really wanted to get just a little something to hold me over till the 1/6 scale, and I saw the McFarlane one with Crypto, which is what I got. Just as like a little something to put on my desk. It's cool, but it's $35. Maybe a little overpriced at that, but I know that's how much these scale of action figures cost nowadays. And it's kind of why a couple years ago I transitioned to 1/6 collecting. And you get what you pay for. It's okay, but it reminded me why I went to 1/6 scale collecting. In terms of 1/6 scale figure, I'm getting the Hot Toys version. I haven't pre-ordered it yet because I think I might get when that comes out in Hong Kong, I might spend the extra few bucks to get that to come in. And why I do, Justin had the video with the other day with we probably all seen it with the prototype. Seeing that video is an improvement to the photos that in-art released, I think, because I think the outfit looks brighter. My only criticism of that figure, the in-art figure, is the head sculpt. It looks good, like the figure looks great, but capturing Cornsweet from the movie, it looks a little too serious to me, and that's where I think Hot Toys is superior. It's Hot Toys head sculpt to me conveys that kind of goofier, brighter Superman that I saw depicted in the film. I wish the in-art one, I don't have an issue with a serious head sculpt, but his second head sculpt in art is that eyes closed, which I think in art said they were trying to convey a sense of divinity to the figure. And to me, when I saw that, I'm like, are you sure you saw the same movie I did? That maybe you watched Man of Steel again, which kind of had those illusions.
Can you imagine they watched the wrong movie?
Yeah, I'm like, I don't think you're watching the same movie as me. So if they had a kind of goofier head sculpt, I think with the in art, I might be picking that one up instead. But the other issue with, I have a couple of in art figures. I haven't always been as happy with the process of those figures. And Hot Toys, I'll have a little bit more confidence of where my money's going. Just in terms of whether it's dealing with Sideshow or whatnot. So I am going to be going with the Hot Toys figure. In terms of the movie itself, I loved it. It was it reminded me a lot of the John Byrne, Dan Jurgens runs of the Superman comics from the 80s and 90s, starting with the Man of Steel reboot in 1986 forward. And I just, it really conveyed a sense of what those 80s and 90s, early 2000s comic books were like. And kind of closer in tone to the Reeve films, which for me, Christopher Reeve is still the GOAT in terms of Superman. I like Cavill, I like Man of Steel, but I like the tone of James Gunn's Superman and the Reeve films. So yeah, I've seen it twice. Absolutely love it.
Absolutely. What was your thoughts on him taking so much damage throughout the film? Like, he wasn't that rock solid Man of Steel like we saw out of that Henry Cavill version, right? Like, he took a lot of damage through the film. Was that something that resonated with you, or did you think that was off?
Yeah, I didn't have an issue with that, because I think one of the criticisms that people have with Superman is he's overpowered. You know, other than Kryptonite or Doomsday, I guess, nothing can stop him. And I think you need to be able to, you need to be able to humanize him. And I think this movie did an incredible job, you know, even in his monologue at the end there to Lex Luthor about that he's human. That was kind of one of the points of the film, is that showing that humanity that we haven't really seen. You've seen in the comics, but not as much on film. And then I think part of that, you do have to depower him a little bit, because otherwise there's no real threat, you know, and I think there's no sense of jeopardy. So I had no issue with that.
That's fair. Well said, buddy. Well said. Jim, Vita, you guys had a chance to see the film, which is awesome. Tell us about your kind of brief overview of the film. What did you guys like? What did you didn't like? And have you made any decision as to whether it's Hot Toys or in art, or both, like Moose is saying in the chat?
Both. Moose always goes both.
I know. You said I didn't put a both option in my poll. And there is a poll in the chat, guys. Vote for which one you guys went with. If it's both, I don't know. Choose which one's your favorite, I guess. Or neither.
I really liked the film. I enjoyed it a lot. I came out buzzing. It was a fun film. My rating, because I do out of 5, similar to Shane, was a 4. Dropped it down to 3.5. There's a few things in there that the more I thought about it, the more I was a bit like, I wish that wasn't in there, or I wish they'd done that differently. But the film as a whole, I thought was really good, and I think it's a really strong start as well to Gunn's new DC universe. So I'm really happy with what I've seen. I guess we'll talk about Batman more later, but I'm excited to see where they go with that one as well.
Same.
As for the figure, actually talking about these head sculpts, that SH Figure Arts one looks awful, and they're normally quite good.
It looks like Prince Andrew in a queue for Domino's.
Yeah. Just, why is it so shiny as well?
Yeah, it's so shiny.
They were taking tips from Trump. Panic.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he's orange.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got a bit orange. That McFarlane.
It's like he's opened the Ark of the Covenant.
It's beautiful.
That's right.
Beautiful.
Well, and the McFarlane one looks like he's taking inspiration from that first teaser where his eyes were a little bit wonky when he was flying, just ever so slightly.
It does look like that. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. I'd say that NECA caricature one's almost better than that. To be fair, at the top.
Yeah.
Bobblehead.
Yeah.
It's got the ears right.
Oh yeah.
Helps to fly.
Yeah. That Funjoy one is random as well. Actually, to be fair, I haven't even.
I'm
heard
hoping
of
that's like a 3.75, because it's no reason, no, you can't be that bad if it's any bigger than that. That's awful. But if it's about that big, then you can. Well, it's a Lego figure. I don't know.
One of those sort of, like, do you remember you used to get those like little bendy rubber figures and stuff like that? Something like that. The interesting thing though is the Hot Toys. I think the likeness looks worse to me now, because it's the most different face shape from all the others. They look kind of similar in face shape for the most part. The Hot Toys one looks a lot different. So I see him, like David Corenswet, less in that one now than I did. I don't think InArt's nailed it either, and I think Adam's right. Like, it does feel like they watch a completely different film, because the eyes closed thing and all of that, it feels like that would fit in with Man of Steel, like Adam was saying, and I agree with that. He's a bit too serious here, which was an interesting take. But if I was going to order one of these, and I haven't decided yet, I'd probably go In Art, just because the likeness is pretty strong. I kind of like that Beast Kingdom one though as well.
Right? Yeah, that one does look pretty good.
Yeah.
Vita, what did you think? Because I know you were a huge Henry Cavill fan, so I was really excited to hear, is Henry Cavill still your Superman? Did you still like the film
Yes.
either way? What was your thoughts overall?
So, yeah, the Henry Cavill is still my Superman, but David Cornsworth still did very good job. So, like, I didn't love the movie, but this movie has its own place within, like, let's say my box of movies, right?
Box of movies.
Yeah, I would rewatch the movie. This is for me more like feel good, a bit goofy, silly movie, like majority of the Guns movies are. But in general, I prefer more dark, serious, like grounded and sad movies. So for me, Man of Steel, it's the darkness, the seriousness. It's more appealing than the funny side of this new Superman. I still enjoyed
Okay.
it. Like we went on Friday afternoon after a long week,
Stressful
and
day.
yeah, and it was like good to kind of watch and relax. It definitely like took me out of my head basically, and I was able to enjoy the movie. But I feel like when I was reflecting on the movie itself, I kind of picked up quite a few things which annoyed me. So I know, like on the other show, Ian was saying like he had completely different opinion on the same scene. So, for example, where Superman is having a conversation with Lewis, and basically in the background you see the other super villains.
That's when he's looking for crypto, isn't it?
Yeah. So they fighting in the background, and Superman was like, "Oh yeah, that's fine." For me, it's no. Superman would like. I understand where like Ian was coming from, saying, "Oh, he was like concerned about crypto," but for me, Superman, even if he's concerned about specific person or dog or whatever, he would still not just say like, "Oh yeah, that's fine, they can handle it." For me, I think Superman would be there to make sure they can handle it, and to make sure he's there if something goes sideways, and that he's just sitting there moping about the dog. It for me was a bit like, I love dogs and I don't have anything against them. Before you say it, right?
How dare you not go after that right now?
Hates dogs.
Yeah, like overall, I would say I would give 3 stars out of 5 as well. Because it's for me was more feel good movie. I didn't feel like it was a lot about Superman. I felt like Superman's light was dimmed by all the side characters. They introduced so many characters, so many superheroes. I feel like he wasn't the star of the show majority of the time, which I missed. But if from the other side, it was very good introductory like movie for like new DC universe, and we saw like loads of potential there. So overall, I like the movie, but it's not my favorite Superman. I think it has to be more. I have to see more of the Superman to decide if he can like replace Henry Cavill for me. But at the moment, I'm sticking with Henry Cavill as my main Superman. But I'm still excited to see what's coming, what's coming in DC, because it was still overall, as I said, good movie, but just not my favorite Superman.
Fair enough.
You made a good point there, Vita, that, like the movie is called Superman. And yet there was a lot of characters in there, and it did feel very much like a comic book to me reading through, right? I mean, there's always so many characters in a comic book that show up, even when there's, even when it's Spider-Man is the title of the book, or Batman's the title of the book, they still interact with so many people. So in that sense, I totally get where they were going with that. And I actually kind of liked that scene where he decided not to go out, because he's like, those guys have it. They've got it locked down. And only because to me, it felt like it was very much like a look into a week of Superman, right? Like this wasn't his first week as Superman. This is just another week in the life of Superman. And I mean, while we as fans of Superman want to see him go out there and smash absolutely freaking everything that comes, I can't imagine how exhausting that would be. And Adam talked about, this is a little bit about his humanity as well, and who he is as a person. And even as a person, you get tired sometimes, and you're just like, you know what, my friends can deal with that for me this time, right? It's actually one of the reasons that I've got Adam and Pete helping me with Let's Get Nuts lately, because after 77 episodes of Let's Get Nuts, I'm like, I need somebody else to think about a couple topics every once in a while, even if I'm the one that still has to show up each week and bring it, right? And so I did like that. More than I expected, but I do see it from your side as well, of that we're watching a Superman film, and he's a little mopey in this moment. Like, come on, guys. But and it was supposed to have that emotional catharsis in there too, and you're distracted a little bit in the background potentially with things happening.
I see everyone really humanizing him to show his weaknesses, but for me, Superman, that's why he's not human. He should not show the weakness. I understand we can see that side of it, but essentially that's why his message was to protect the humans, to be there for them, and he is more than human.
Well, no, the message was actually to rule over them.
Well, no, they'll be
we will rule over all humans.
And,
that's for sure.
Just quickly to touch on that other sculpt with the closed eyes, I actually really like that option. So there was several I think scenes where he's kind of composing himself, and every time you see Superman composing himself, he does close his eyes, and it's he kind of speaks to himself. For me, those moments when he's with eyes closed reflects him grounding himself and understanding that he cannot react, essentially. So yeah, I like the head sculpt, and I would go for it.
I'm excited to see what you guys can. I'm excited to see what you guys can do with it photography wise, because I think both of you guys really bring it when it comes to photography on your Instagrams and everything. And so I feel like that's just one of those, photo quality worthy head sculpts that if you can do it in the right way, it's going to look freaking sweet. And even though it wasn't a super iconic scene from the film where he's closing his eyes and floating, I still think that's how I'm going to display mine, with him hovering with his boots down, right? That swappable boot option, and the closed sculpt, at least every once in a while, just giving him kind of that, that godlike presence in the display, for sure. But no, great thoughts, Vita, great thoughts, Jim. Pete, before I go to you, buddy, I just wanted to give a quick shout out here. We got a $5 super chat from Mr. L. Walker. He says, I thought I was a channel member, Ben. I guess I'll have to join. Dude, you're a sweetheart. I definitely appreciate you, man. And immediately becomes a channel member directly after. So thank you so much. Let's give you one of these here. I want to give you, I think, a decent. Let's give you a decent. Decent, buddy. Thank you so much for becoming a channel member, man. Also, I wanted to give a really quick shout out here too, if I can find him in the chat. I saw him in there. Mr. Trevor Weed, where are you, Trevor Weed? I saw ya. Either way, Trevor Weed, there he is. Howdy y'all, he says. Trevor Weed became one of our Nut Kings in between Let's Get Nuts episodes. So about a week ago, we didn't have Sunday show last week. He became a Nut King on the channel right in between. So dude, thank you so much for becoming one. I definitely appreciate it. I've been getting all my stickers in for all you guys. So we're going to start doing the for anybody who's a Nut King, we're going to start giving these away soon. So we got bigger Let's Get Nuts stickers because I wasn't happy with the size of these bad boys. So each package that gets sent out, you're going to receive both sizes of the Let's Get Nuts, as well as whatever emoji badge you already are. So I'm excited for you guys to see them. They're pretty cool. I ordered some envelopes off of Amazon last night, some fancy black envelopes. So you guys will all receive a fancy black envelope. I think we now have 14 Nut Kings that will get stickers sent to them, but we have over 54 channel members now. So guys, everybody who participates and contributes, thank you. It gives me the ability to do giveaways and all that stuff. Also, I ordered myself a Let's Get Nuts hat. It doesn't fit me very well, but it's pretty cool. So I got it from the merch store. So everything is Let's Get Nuts nowadays in the studio. But yes, thanks again, L Walker and Mr. Trevor weed. Pete, tell us a little bit about what your thoughts were on Superman. You know, did you like anything? Did you hate anything? Maybe you just disliked it? And did you go in on Hot Toys or in art or both or neither? What's your thoughts there?
I did enjoy the movie. I think for me, I really enjoyed Corin Sweat's performance. Also, the lady playing Lois, and obviously Luther as well. So I thought they were really good. I liked the portrayal of Superman. I think the difficult thing is, and I didn't mind him taking a bit of a beating, because obviously you've got to kind of have some kind of stakes there, and I think what's obviously never really explained, it doesn't need to be, but he is an alien, but he's humanoid in form, so we assume that all of his, you know, internal bits and pieces are kind of the same as ours. So if you take that kind of premise, then obviously he's not immortal, he's not a god, he is just a very strong humanoid, obviously powered by the sun. So if he comes up against somebody that's, you know, as tough as him, then I think it's fine for him to be injured. And I like the way that they, you know, put him into the rays of the sun, and it hurts, you know, to kind of heal him. So I kind of quite like that. I think the problem with any Superman movie is you ultimately come down to it's either kryptonite that gets him, or it's a clone of him, and we've seen that in other things before. You know, oh, it's a clone, so they've got the same powers. And what was really interesting, I don't know if any of you guys felt this, and it might be just be me being really wacky, but when they unmasked Ultraman, or whatever they called him, and it was a clone of Superman, I thought for a minute it was Henry Cavill. It really looked like him to me, and I thought that would be a fantastic you know, cameo if he'd done that, to the point where actually, because you didn't really see his face like really well in any one shot. It was a lot of moving about and stuff. So I did actually look it up afterwards, and it wasn't, obviously, but he so yeah. And I think what I liked the fact that they kind of brought him down through misinformation, fake news, which is obviously very, very current, and it's almost like that has been the way that people have been brought down in real life in the last 5-10 years. You know, if you can't actually get anything on them for real, just spread a nasty rumour or fake news, and all of a sudden, like, everyone's perception of you changes. And for that, you could tell he was like really, really hurt by that. Like, that hurt him to the core when he felt that everyone had turned against him and thought that he was there to you know, obviously take over the earth. So I think that was cleverly done there, to kind of, you know, a very sort of up to the minute kind of thing. I enjoyed. I thought Hawk Girl was quite cool. Very attractive lady. I thought
Underused a little though. Underused
Yeah,
a little
yeah.
bit though.
Yeah, oh,
Of all the
absolutely.
characters,
Just-
she got
yeah,
like the least amount to do. I felt like
she did. I mean, obviously, what's he called? Mr. Intelligent or something.
It's a
Mr.
terrific.
He had a lot of time. He had a lot more time than I thought he would. I thought that Guy Gardner would have had more screen time than him, but he didn't. He was like a sort of comical cameo kind of thing. So I didn't mind that. I enjoyed the movie. I thought Crypto was cool. I liked the little sort of teaser at the end of Supergirl coming in. I think she's going to be, and we're going to talk about that, but I think she's going to be great. So yeah, I enjoyed it. Yeah, solid 3.5 probably. I mean, I very much like Christopher Reeve is my Superman. Will always well be. Those first two movies, I don't even mind the third one, to be honest. It's got some goofy fun in it, and I think you're right. There always was that goofiness, but that was with Clark. You know, Clark was that kind of that goofiness. It was like that over the top kind of buffoonery to make it look like, oh, how could anybody ever possibly accuse this guy of being Superman when he can't even, you know, cross the road or things like that. So it kind of led into that, and for me, you know, Christopher Reeve will always be the greatest Superman. Having said that, obviously, you know, I did enjoy this. Onto the figures. It's funny you should ask that, because I did watch Justin's kind of review of the prototype, and I wasn't really bothered about either. I did feel that the in art looked better than I seen from the pictures. I think the head sculpt was better, the colours were better. And I kind of went onto Kit, and I was having a look and the prices ordered, and I thought actually I don't need either of them because I've got my Reeve. I've got a custom. It's a Firesome with a custom suit and a head sculpt. I don't need another Superman. So I kind of saved myself £300 by going. Actually, it looks like a nice figure. I'm sure the Hot Toys is as well, but I don't have room for it in my cabinet, so he'll just sit on the table. I'll have him in a flying pose and stuff. But ultimately, he'll probably end up being sold because I don't have space for him in the actual main collection. So I enjoyed the video. I think they both look good. I think I probably would lean towards Inart if I was going to buy one, but I've kind of taken myself out of that equation now, so I'm quite happy with that.
Absolutely.
But yeah.
Absolutely. Hey, knowing when you should tell yourself no is half the battle.
Yeah,
I feel like in
absolutely.
this hobby, honestly, right?
Absolutely.
There's so often where I'm like, I need. Honestly, even our manager, we had a very large sales month in my business last month in June, and so he took us all out for steaks and handed us all a $500 prepaid Visa card, which was really cool, really generous. And so I've had this Visa card sitting in my office here for like a couple weeks while I was away and everything, and I got back last night and I'm like, okay, I want to spend a little bit of money on myself. I'm going to buy something, and I almost got the Jack Sparrow like several times, and I kept saying to myself, no, you don't need it, go find something else. And I go back and look at it again, I'm like, no, you don't need it. And it's kind of the same thing. While I love Jack Sparrow and I love Johnny Depp, that's one figure that as soon as I need the space, I think, for something else that I want more, it would be eliminated. Whereas I will say that I've always been a huge Superman fan, and I've always been a huge Batman fan. So I kind of want every representation of Batman that's ever existed. Like I've even got the George Clooney one coming. And I think it will be cool to see it, David Corenswet in with my Christopher Reeve behind me and my Cavill Superman. So it just depends on what you envision for your display. But again, telling yourself no is half the battle, especially when you got a couple extra bucks to spend and you could treat yourself, and then still telling yourself no, that's hard to do. Mr. 12-inch Moose Dream, member for 18 months. Dude, thank you so much. And one of our channel kings, you love to see it. He says, oh, thanks for the 150 characters. I'm getting both versions of Superman, all Fantastic Four, The Last of Us Joel, but only for the body. I'll use the head for a Brando kit bash. I can see it.
Wow.
Dude. That's hilarious, man. That's hilarious. If they do give us a Bella Ramsey, I've thought about getting the Alien Romulus Rain Carradine figure and swapping her head sculpt out for the Bella Ramsey head sculpt. So it's crazy how we do that. But dude, thank you for being a channel member for so freaking long, and great thoughts here on this, guys. I was just taking a look at the poll. So the poll is 65% in our 20% Hot Toys, 15% is like you, neither. And I'm sure, of course, there is a percentage of those folks in there like Moose that are both. I don't think I need both. But I can understand why you'd be interested in that, because I agree with you guys. I do like that the Hot Toys one seems brighter in terms of his like the persona, like how he feels, more hopeful. He's not as dark as the in-art. I just see David more in the sculpt on the in-art one, and so that's where I gravitated to, as that likeness piece. But no, well said, guys, well said. Let's move on here. Look Out, of course, spray painted over Look Up, by our girl Supergirl, who does appear, of course, at the end of Superman. Now, I apologize. Obviously, we're talking spoilers. I probably should have told you guys this in advance, but I feel like if you really wanted to see this movie, you probably would have already had a chance to see it so far, or it's been spoiled for you already. Supergirl is in the film at the very end, and she is wasted, and a very interesting new take on this girl. And I really like Millie Alcock. I mean, I haven't seen her in very much other than, of course, House of the Dragon, which I really enjoyed her appearance as Rhaenyra. I was sad, actually, when they replaced her with the older version of the character, even though she did amazing. Like, both actresses did great. I really liked Millie's portrayal, but I can definitely see her in the Supergirl role. I think she looks the part. I love the costume that they've given her so far. And it's interesting because, now that we've got this kind of Boy Scout version of Superman again, I think it's interesting to see kind of the the transition or the difference in a Supergirl, who's getting hammered. She's still young. She still wants to party and have fun. In this poster, you can see that she's actually got blood on her knuckles, which is interesting. So clearly there's going to be a lot more rawness, I think, to her character. Unlike, as I said, the Boy Scout of Superman. But then before I go to you, Adam, also, of course, this is kind of a quick look at all of the different Supergirls we've seen on screen up till now. And while I really like them all, and we haven't actually got a really good feel for Millie's yet, I still am going to miss Sasha's Supergirl. I thought she did fantastic in The Flash. And I really liked Melissa Benoist, or Benoit, I can't remember how you say her last name, but from the CW shows, I liked her as well. But both of those Supergirls were alien in nature, it felt like, and pretty super, pardon the pun, whereas Millie looks like she's going to be very unedited in her version, and I'm excited to see the stark difference from what we've seen from other Supergirls. Tell me what you thought about seeing Supergirl, Adam, in the film, and what your hopes are for her character kind of in the future.
I knew she was going to be in it. I didn't know at what point in the movie she was going to be, so the cameo was not unexpected. But it was welcome, and I know seeing it a second time, I turned to my daughter after the movie, and she is very psyched. And we both are to see this next June, the Supergirl film. I'm, it's interesting that the take, it seems like I didn't read the, I think it's Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow is kind of one of the storylines.
I've read it.
Yeah, so Jose has it right there in the chat. I didn't read that storyline, but my understanding is that's like Jose's. That's kind of what the storyline's going to be based out of, at least partly. It seems like they're going. If you ever watched Yellowstone, like maybe not as vulgar, but like that she's like a younger Beth Dutton, and if Beth Dutton became Supergirl, which I think would be kind of an interesting take. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I think it's an opportunity to go in a little bit different direction. Plus, you have the guy who was Aquaman. What's the actor's name? Jason Momoa is going to play Lobo. And if you remember, if anyone ever saw the cartoon or read the comics, Lobo is a really interesting character. Lobo the bounty hunter. So I'm I think we're probably gonna have a little bit of a cosmic. See the cosmic take of the new DC universe. I imagine she's not just going to be on Earth, but elsewhere. And I'm curious if they're going to have the bottle city of Kandor at all in this, where she's originally from, because it seems like James Gunn is very focused on bringing the comic book storylines to life. Again, I haven't read that Woman of Tomorrow, but that's making me want to pick that up now. That trade paperback.
I was literally just typing it into Amazon so that I don't forget, because I'm going to order it afterwards. I haven't read it myself, but I've got, and I think it was spoiled for me a little bit of what the storyline of it is. Either way, I've heard that her storyline is quite dark, and it's definitely part of the reason that she, shows up the way she does, potentially in the film. So
yeah, I'd be interested to see how they go with that, because obviously there is a lot of killing in it. Which is not what we normally associate with super people, as in the Superman, Supergirl.
Well, and Pete Jose is saying here, maybe it's spray paint, not blood on the hands. Definitely could be both. I'm not even sure. It's very vague. I mean, it is red spray paint, so I could see it.
Well, let's remember too that, and since we're talking spoilers here, Peacemaker has a cameo in Superman, and season 2 of Peacemaker is coming up in a couple weeks on HBO, and James Gunn in an interview said it's going to be very R-rated. So
yeah, he said it very R-rated. I was like, okay.
Yeah, in the same universe as the Superman movie. So I think they're balancing these different iterations in the same universe.
Absolutely. Pete, did you have any of these Supergirls? I mean, obviously we haven't seen Millie's quite yet, other than a very tease, but did any of these ever stand out to you, or were you ever much of a Supergirl fan, or are you really more anticipating kind of the next one?
Absolutely, Helen Slater. I mean, I am a child of the 80s, so it's Christopher Reeve, it's Helen Slater. I would love a Helen Slater figure. I think Jazzinc have teased that they might do one at some point. I would love that. I love obviously that that with a lot of these the costume reflects the Superman one, so hers looks very much like it's the classic S shield and the colours and stuff of Reeves' suit, so it looked brilliant. So absolutely, and she's kind of like the absolute opposite of Millie Alcox, because Supergirl in Helen Slater, she's just like absolutely she's so right, she does the right thing in everything. She's not got a kind of a malicious bone in her body kind of thing, to her detriment in that movie. So she's always going to be my favourite. But I think I enjoyed the little scene at the end of the movie with Krypto and stuff as well, and I think she will be a good. I mean, obviously, if they're doing the Supergirl of tomorrow, it is very much about a galaxy hopping adventure. We're probably not going to, unless we see him in a cameo, we're not going to see her opposite Corin Sweat in that movie. But obviously, hopefully, the next movie along, they'll be in it together, because I think they'll play off really well, because she'll be like taking the mick out of him and questioning why he's always so straight laced and all that kind of thing. So I think that would work well.
Absolutely.
So but the comic's really good. I definitely would pick it up if you haven't read it. I'd be interested to see how they kind of it's very different to what we've just seen, because I don't think any of it's set on Earth or anything like that. It's all very alien landscapes and giant aliens and all that kind of stuff. So yeah,
It's gonna be interesting to see. Yeah, well said, Pete. Well said. Vita, did you say earlier you do like dogs or you don't like dogs? Sorry.
She loves dogs.
I do like dogs.
You love dogs. Okay.
I love
So when
dogs.
you got to see how misbehaved Krypto was in the film, and then you get a chance to see that it's actually Supergirl's dog, how did that resonate with you? And what were your kind of initial thoughts when she popped up on the screen at the end there? Was that something you got excited about, or you were like, oh man, what are we in for?
Well, my initial thoughts were that she's very responsible.
No doubt.
And then I thought, God, how old I am.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know a lot about Supergirl. I'll be honest. So I haven't really seen Smallville
Same.
ever.
That's
or
one you
any of
guys
the
should go back
versions.
to, honestly. There's a lot of episodes, but it's a great show.
Smallville's good.
Yeah,
Smallville,
well,
yeah.
I know you have seen it. Yeah, it's actually I added on my watch list recently because I was interested to see that version of Superman and the Supergirl, obviously. So initially, I'll prefer the suit of the Flash movie actress. I don't remember how to say her name.
Sasha?
Sasha Calle.
Something, yes. Yeah. So I think, like, I know that the current one is like more comic book accurate and all, and that's absolutely fine. But for me, in my head, it's like if Superman has one like type of suit, I feel like Supergirl should look similar, because those suits would come from their planet.
They
Like,
do look similar.
yeah, but like the full body one from the Flash movie, for me, that's what the Supergirl should be wearing. Like, it's just my opinion, right? Like, I prefer that look, essentially. I'm excited to see the movie, even if I think the Supergirl is irresponsible. So I quickly looked out about that comic book as well, and yeah, the story sounds much darker. So I'm quite interested to read that story as well. Probably gonna have to check out if we can get that comic book as well. So I'm excited to see, because as I said, I haven't really seen the Supergirl story before. I think she's gonna be more like Deadpool-like in a sense, like where she's gonna be a bit more like badass and not goody two shoes. So I'm kind of excited to see. And as Pete mentioned, I think the movie together with Supergirl and Superman would be quite fun, because she would just be taking a mick out of him constantly.
Absolutely.
And that's kind of a humor I enjoy. So
Same,
be
honestly.
great.
What is she, I can't remember what she called him in the film, but I was like, man, that's just totally hilarious. Just jeering him on, right? And
Yeah.
and it's interesting too because of course, like again, obviously under the yellow sun on Earth, she's got the same powers as Superman, but she's so petite. So I'm wondering, like, is anybody going to mess with her? And she's just going to have a lot of fun with that, right? I actually think the only hole in her coming in at the end there, a little tipsy still, was that she said she'd gone to a planet to get drunk with the red sun because obviously it diminishes her power, so she can get drunk, right? You can't get drunk on Earth with the yellow sun. But then how did she fly back to Earth still drunk under the yellow sun and was still kind of intoxicated? I was like,
She was flying at
I thought
night.
that was fun. I guess
Maybe,
flying right. But if she diminished her power enough to be able to get drunk, then I don't know.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
could she still fly as a result? I thought that was a funny like weird hole, but that's just me being a nerd. I think.
Vita,
So-
can I ask you a question, Vita, on what you just said there? I was just interested to know whether or not you said that you felt that Supergirl should be in like the full body suit, like Superman.
Yeah.
So do you feel like is that because you think that's a kind of should be a modern reflection of how she would dress rather than being in a essentially a mini skirt? That kind of, is it anything to do with that, or is it just
Yeah.
like the
yeah, I
vision you see?
suppose. Yeah,
It's
I
quite
suppose it's
a
a bit-
old-fashioned, isn't it?
Yeah. And for me, like, I'm very practical, right? So for me, it's just like, I would not want to fight with a skirt.
Yeah,
Right? It's
yeah.
impractical.
Mhm.
And I just feel like you flying, you doing all these sort of things, you would
Yeah.
not want to be with
No.
a skirt.
No,
It's fine
exactly.
hovering actually with a skirt.
Yeah,
as opposed
yeah,
to
yeah,
shorts, isn't it?
yeah. You got to make a good point there. So I think that obviously,
Yeah.
when these comics came out, it was very much the kind of the stereotypes that of portrayal. And I think probably for her time, she was quite a very forward thinking and
Yeah.
kind of revolutionary female character within comics and stuff. Because I think she came in. I'm just looking like 252, so probably still in the like the 40s, 50s, something like that. But I see what I think, particularly if you're talking about, like the more grounded stuff, then yeah, you would be wearing like a full on
It's,
kind of suit, wouldn't you?
so it's like a cheerleader outfit with a cape. I mean, that's basically
Yeah.
It is, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's
a
spot on.
traditional
Yeah, I was, like,
cheerleader
thinking
outfit.
It reminds me of something. Yeah, that's spot on.
Yeah,
like a football
so it's-
football cheerleader outfit or basketball.
So, yeah, I
I
can
saw
kind
girls
of-
like that in Nashville with cowboy hats the last week, just the skirt. And,
You were dancing with them, mate.
yeah, well, I was trying. I wasn't doing a very good job. But
I mean, I understand Vita's point of view. I do. Believe me, I do. But I guess I'm tradition. I like the traditional outfit.
The old school.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
But I understand
Although
what you're saying, Vita. I totally do.
well, and seeing like all five, 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, all five of them here on the screen, Sasha's does really stand out to me as like a badass look, like super sexy, real
Yeah.
sleek, real like
Yeah.
physical, right? And I think that's awesome. But yeah, they all have their wins, and I agree with Brick. Mr. Brick in the chat here says, Melissa was the goat. I mean, she doesn't look like a goat. She's wonderfully beautiful, but she is the greatest of all time in comparison to what the others are for Brick. And I loved her, honestly. I think she was an amazing Supergirl. So just like how I thought Grant Gustin was an amazing Flash in the CW, I would have loved to see Grant have an opportunity to be on the big screen because I think he's he really portrayed Barry Allen in my heart for sure. Irman Azim says, speaking of Superman verse, you guys still thrilled for the in-art Christopher Reeve soups? Absolutely, dude. In fact, I thought we might see him already, if I'm being honest. I'm a little annoyed that it's been so delayed. Sounds like they're still tweaking it, which means it's still probably a little ways out, unfortunately. But whenever that figure comes, or that duo, because I think they were looking at giving the like the Clark Kent as well as the Superman, right? I'm gonna be all over that. You can see my Superman in behind me. I freaking love that figure, but it's showing its age. It needs some updates. So
The word is we might get a Hot Toys 2.0 Christopher Reeve next week.
next week, man, that would be crazy.
That's what Justin said.
I think.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I'm interested in anything Christopher Reeve, but I think they've got to nail it. And I think as good as that, as decent as that Hot Toys one you got, Ben, was for the time. Obviously, it's due an update, and I think that's something that they need to get right is Christopher Reeve's physique, because it's not a traditional bodybuilder. He's almost a little bit like Corin Sweat. You know, he's just solid. He's got muscles, but it's not like the massive pecs and the six pack and stuff. He's just like a solid guy, and I think that would be the real key for me if one of them really nails that. You know, and it would have to be a bespoke body, really. And I think InArt would be the ones that would do that more likely than Hot Toys.
I agree with you, Pete, because I just watched, shout out to Dean Knight, I watched his Joker comparison, the Joaquin Phoenix Joker comparison. If you guys haven't seen that video, go check it out after the show. It was really, really good comparison. I thought the Hot Toys Joker looked amazing. I thought the InArt Joker looked amazing, but when I saw them compared, I thought the InArt just absolutely blew it out of the freaking water. Both in kind of like you said, the body proportions, but also in the sculpt. And I think for me going forward, my new rule will be, if the character means a lot to me, then I'll probably still gravitate InArt, pay the little bit of extra money. But if it's just a really great character that I want represented in my display, then I'm, obviously always going to be very, very happy with it.
There's no off-the-shelf body that would do Christopher Reeve justice.
That's right.
So
That's
I
right.
hope that InArt put the work into that, getting those body proportions right.
100%. Jim, before I go to bed, because I haven't forgotten about you, Ron E here sent in a super sticker. One of our Nut Kings, dude. Thank you so much for being so generous. Both being one of the Nut Kings. Looking forward to getting you your stickers there, good sir. Let's just see here. Good old fundraiser from Ron here. This is let's see. I wanna give you a fundraiser here, buddy.
You don't understand. One fundraiser with my pals. You'll never need another cent.
Mr. Ron, dude, thank you so much for your generosity, buddy. I really, really appreciate that. And then Blair Dad Life, one of our channel members as well, says, I almost bought the Sasha Hot Toys for $320 an hour ago. It seems like a pretty decent price. I don't remember what she retailed in at, but I've been keeping an eye out for her as well, because I talked myself out of it. And then I talked myself out of it when she was originally shown, though, and she had kind of that like Cro-Magnon face, like they needed to give her more eyebrows. She looked a little Neanderthal-like. And then they dialed it in. It looks so much better. So, for sure. We got Figures and Fandom here in the chat with us. Hey, all. Grail Panel. Dude, thanks for being here, man. I hope you're feeling good. I hope you're doing well. Definitely make sure you guys go over and subscribe to our buddy there as well. Good to see you here, man. Jim, tell us a little bit about your thoughts on Supergirl before we move on. Were you excited to see her at the end of the film, and what are your hopes for her for the future?
Yeah, I think, to be fair, I was excited to see her at the end of the film. Gave us a nice little tease into what she's potentially going to be like in the upcoming film. And I heard Gunn talking about how she's going to be quite different from Superman as well. So I think what you guys were saying about she's going to be a lot more grungy, for lack of a better term, I can kind of see that. He did mention as well that he wanted the different films in the universe to feel different. So I can totally see them taking on a harder edge with Supergirl as opposed to Superman. He might be like the kind of more light-hearted film, and then she could be a bit grungier. He could go dark with Batman. I don't really know where they'll take it, but I think that's quite an interesting aspect for it. And like a lot of you guys, I haven't read the Supergirl comic that you were mentioning earlier, so I think we're probably going to have to track that down as well and give that a read, because we did a little look at the synopsis and it looks really interesting. Comic books as a whole is something I've got more into recently. As growing up, it was basically just Batman that I would read and nothing else, so I need to explore that a little bit more, Superman being one. In fact, this film's convinced me that I want to read more Superman stories, because I used to find him as a slightly uninteresting character when I was growing up. What Adam said,
There's some fantastic
powerful.
There's some fantastic.
It's just so powerful.
Yeah,
comic
that's what
books.
I'm hearing. So I'm looking forward to kind of getting into that and finding out more about it. It wasn't until the Injustice game and comic that I really started to enjoy his character a little bit more, because that was a really good story. I thought I enjoyed that one. Yeah. So
Jim,
Agreed.
yeah, Adam.
Jim, if you're looking to, I would suggest Superman, the John Byrne Man of Steel miniseries from 1986, which is his reboot, and also Superman for All Seasons by Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale.
That's one of the ones that I read and I loved it.
Is it good? We'll have to add that to our list.
Great call, Adam.
There's so many. Getting back into comic books is like getting into Hot Toys and trying to buy backwards. There's like so many things that you can potentially like go down as well, and there's so many different avenues, so many takes on a character as well. It's like it's quite an interesting little universe there. But going back to Supergirl, I'm excited for her. Millie Alcock I thought was interesting, so I'm looking kind of forward to seeing what she'll bring to the role.
Yeah, absolutely. James, I'll stick with you, buddy, or Jim, I'll stick with you, buddy. I'll I was thinking about crossover, right? I'm thinking about DC and thinking about James Gunn and how, kind of the criticism is James Gunn often brings his friends into his next films, which he definitely does. His wife was not in Superman, which I was very surprised about, actually, because obviously she's in Peacemaker and she's an absolute badass in Peacemaker, right? But I was shocked at how many crossovers there has actually been from the Marvel Cinematic Universe here into DC. Into DC. Yeah, speaking the right language here today, guys. One of the ones that I was shocked I didn't realize was the actress Pom Klementieff was in this. I didn't realize she was robot number 5. I also didn't realize that Michael Rooker was robot number 1. I'm shocked that I didn't recognize either of their voices, if I'm being honest. Obviously, there's a couple more in here that we already were very obvious, to see there. I loved seeing, the actor who played Mr. Terrific back again, because of course he played Darwin way back in X-Men First Class. I really liked him as an actor as well in For All Mankind on Apple TV Plus.
It's a great show.
Yeah, great show. If you guys haven't had a chance to see it, it's an interesting, very sci-fi look at if the Russians had essentially won the space race to the moon, what would that have then done to our space travel and like what what our next steps would look like as humanity trying to beat the competition, and how much further along we would get. And there's some slowness to it, but it's really cool, like science fiction / kind of geopolitical kind of stuff. So really interesting, but he was amazing in that. I think Lex Luthor didn't really stand out to me as one of my favorites of the film, if I'm being honest. Nicholas Hoult, while I like him, he felt a little overplayed as Lex, and he just hasn't quite got me yet. I'm not. That's not to say that I'm gonna like him in the future. I would still say the Smallville actor, Michael Rosenbaum, he's still my favorite Lex in terms of portrayal of Lex. But I'm excited to see more of Nicholas Hoult here going forward. But the reason I wanted to show you guys this was in the interview yesterday or 2 days ago on the Happy, Sad, Confused podcast. It's about a 50-minute interview with James Gunn. He talks a little bit more now about the Superman film now that it's released, everybody's seen it, and what some of the future could look like. And 4 of the headlines that I really quickly pulled here, and you guys can speak to whichever one you want that resonates with you most. But he says here, I'll read all 4, and then you guys can speak to which one resonates with you most. But he said James Gunn said he would love to cast Henry Cavill as another character in DCU, and that he felt like it was actually very unfair to Henry what went down. It sounds like he showed up in that cameo scene, right? And that was kind of a decision that was made outside of James Gunn, even though at that point James Gunn already knew that they were going to reboot the Superman universe. So he was kind of like, well, what the hell? Why did you put him in the movie if we were going to reboot it, right? And so he felt like that was really unfair to Henry, but he also really likes Henry, so would definitely consider him as another character in the DCU. He also mentioned here that I'm a big fan of Alan Ritchson, both as an actor and as a guy, when asked about potential Batman casting. So he didn't say no, didn't say yes, but I would love to see Alan Ritchson. Now that we've seen what the Superman DC universe looks like, I was talking to you guys backstage, if they're going to go with a kind of like a gray spandex suit, maybe with blue and the yellow and the big blue cowl and stuff like that, you need to have a physical presence in an outfit like that to make it look badass if that was the look they were going to go with. So I could see Alan Ritchson being there. He also mentioned that Brainiac was originally set to be the villain of the Superman before Lex Luthor was chosen. That just tells me that there's still a chance we'll see Brainiac in the future in Superman, so I'm excited for a new representation of that. And then last but not least, the Clayface film was originally set up to be part of the Matt Reeves Batman kind of verse, but they've changed it. Now it's going to be part of the new DCU, and James Gunn literally said it is essentially a horror movie. And so I thought that was interesting because obviously with Superman being this Boy Scout and very light and hopeful and happy, a horror movie set within the same universe is also very different from the feel that we got. So of these four slides, I think what I'm most excited to see is how deep into a horror film they go with a Clayface, because I like the character of Clayface, and who the hell is going to play Batman. Is it going to be Alan Ritchson? Is it going to be somebody entirely different? Those two get me the most excited, but Henry Cavill, he's my boy too. I would love to see him back. Jim and Vita, I'll start with you guys. I feel like I already know what Vita's going to say because I know how much she likes Henry Cavill, but what of these four kind of little pieces of information, little tidbits that James Gunn gave, stands out to you the most?
So yeah, the Henry Cavill one stands out the most for me. I don't know how I feel about it. I'm definitely gonna have to watch all the podcasts to listen for the rest of the conversation. But I don't know, like, I don't know, like, doesn't it feel like slap to the face or something to cast him like somebody else? Who
Literally what
here we
Ronnie
go,
said.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, who would he be? Like, after seeing him as
Shazam.
Superman,
Yeah.
that's a good point. I
Shazam?
suppose, but
Maybe.
I don't know. Like, but Shazam's supposed to be like younger, isn't he? Like a bit more.
Well, he's a
childlike,
boy when he's
younger
when
guy.
he's not Shazam. But
Yeah.
Shazam's a
Yeah, we watched the Shazam. I wasn't a big fan, I think, of it.
We liked the first film. We haven't seen the second. Did we see the second?
I don't know. I can't remember. Anyway, yeah. So I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this. I don't quite see it. Maybe I would. Yeah, I would just need to see it, and I don't want to like be just like a negative Nancy saying he can't come back to DC, because I think he needs another shot, and I would like to see Henry Cavill back doing like bigger roles.
He's not had the best luck with films recently, has he?
Yeah, I don't know much about Alan Ritchson. I don't know how to say
Ritchson.
his name. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen him in anything recently. I know there was like some TV show going on we meant to watch.
Reacher. Yeah.
Reacher.
Yeah,
Excellent.
Reacher.
really good.
He's freaking
so-
huge.
Yeah.
Phil the Burns calls him a meat mountain. Like he's a very like.
Yeah,
I've been going-
me and Robert had some videos sent each other of Cavill and him. So yeah,
Nice.
I know how he looks. So I could see him as a Batman for sure, because he's a
Hell
big
yeah.
man. So I could see him as a Batman for sure. I think he would fit the role, because Batman has to be like big and beefy basically.
Yeah.
So that would be interesting. Actually don't have like preference at all who the new Batman would be. You just have to see basically. The same with the Superman, you know. I wasn't like straight away saying like, no, he won't be my new Superman. I think like Cornsworth still did a very good job. I don't know much, like I don't remember much about Brainiac, if I'm honest. My brain is a bit like shut off at this point.
We haven't seen him. He was in Injustice, the game, but that's all I really know him from.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. So I remember from the game when I was playing Injustice, essentially. But it would be interesting to see some like new villains as well. Going back to the point of Lex Luthor, I actually quite enjoyed his portrayal in this movie. I think it was pretty good. I just liked how like crazy psycho like brainy man he is, and like, you know, figure out this way to be Superman, and like how obsessive he was, and like he wanted to like
That's a good word
destroy
for it.
him,
Obsessive.
no matter like no matter the cost, he was just going after him. And I think it was brilliant, you know, the scene where Superman just like gets in asking about crypto, and he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, I love that scene actually. That one of the ones made me like giggle. It's like it made me think about siblings basically bickering, because my brother used to do things like that to me, like, you know, just mumble something under his nose, like basically, haha, like no one else heard it, like in your face. So like it made me giggle. I thought it was brilliant, basically. So yeah, I think we just need to wait and see at this point.
Absolutely.
But it would be hard to see Superman as somebody else, I think. But as we would,
Superman is someone else.
the
He's your
Cavill.
Superman.
Yeah, there you go. It's too ingrained. It's too ingrained you. Keep in mind, right? They could still bring in Henry Cavill and have him under prosthetics or makeup or CGI. Like he could still be the character within
Yeah.
a character. It doesn't have to. I agree with you. I think if it looks like Henry Cavill, that will feel like a slap in the face because then you will just associate his look with, well, that's my Superman right there.
Exactly that. Yeah. I think he would definitely have to look completely different.
He could be Brainiac. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, fair. Well, and I don't remember all of the story of Brainiac, but I've been recently watching the Superman cartoon show back from the 90s, and Brainiac starts out as kind of the evil computer system that gets shot into space, and then makes it to Earth and kind of evolves itself into the supervillain that he becomes. And so it's an interesting story from my recollection of it, but I don't know all the details myself. Jim, what stands out to you, buddy, with some of these kind of teases for what's to come from DC? And guys, by the way, after this is our last entertainment news subject, then we're jumping in to 6 scale, just in case you're wondering. But Jim, tell us about it.
I'm quite excited about Clayface. It's not a character that I know a ton about. I haven't read like specific Clayface comics or anything like that. Obviously, I've known him as like a villain from Batman. He was in the animated show as well, wasn't he? Clayface, I think, from what I remember.
Hell yeah, he was.
Yes.
And in
so I'm quite interested in that.
And in the Harley Quinn show, actually, as well. It's an animated Harley Quinn show, which is like rated R, and man, he's freaking hilarious in that. Hilarious.
Yeah, I've heard of that. I haven't watched that though.
But yeah,
so
rated
I'm
R
quite
straight
excited
up on this one. Yeah.
That's good.
Absolutely.
If it's going to be horror, that's quite exciting. Maybe there was a Swamp Thing TV show not too long ago, and that was quite good. Again, it was like like it was. I think it was like a DC property, but it was like quite dark and reminded me of like a kind of old school American horror. This is like years ago it came out.
Someone got shut down, I think, though, after I think it was one season, right? Like a lot of people did like it
Yeah,
if they were
I think so.
Swamp Thing fans, but then it got shut down pretty quick.
Yeah, I think that's what happens, and I just never picked up with it. I think I finished it, but I quite enjoyed that. So I'm excited to see Clayface. Brainiac, I don't know enough about to say, but I liked Lex as well. I thought Lex Luthor in the new film was really good. He was one of my highlights of it. I thought he was just a great diabolical evil genius. Really, yeah, he was good at it. Henry Cavill would be weird to be in the new DCU. I was thinking he could be Hal Jordan, but now I'm thinking that's too similar in a way to Superman because he'll be wearing like super suit and stuff like that. It will just be his face, so maybe that.
You got to think though, just to challenge you on that though, they are putting Jason Momoa in as Lobo, like we said, right? And I mean, I think he's always looked like Lobo. I think that was just like that's a needs to happen kind of casting. But I mean, he was Aquaman too, right? And like so, like big, bulky, big, long hair kind of guy. So
he's not as iconic as Aquaman.
If he's Hal Jordan, though, you have the face
fair.
mask, so.
Yes,
But
that's true.
they already cast Jordan. It's Kyle Chandler. He's playing him in
Chandler.
Lanterns
Oh,
on HBO. Yeah.
Okay, well, there we go. So it'll be interesting to see if he does go into it. It would be nice in one way though that they did bring him back because he did get massively screwed with that change in what they were going to do. Like not by Gunn himself, I suppose, but just coming in for that cameo and then nothing coming of it. And I heard, I think Gunn threw some shade on The Rock, didn't he? Around all that, because The Rock was trying to like insert his dominance and kind of head up DCU and stuff.
a shift in the power of the DC universe.
Yeah, exactly. That would have been really interesting to be like a fly on the wall in that situation, you know? Just
No
to see
doubt.
behind the scenes stuff that's going on.
No doubt.
As for Batman, yeah, I don't know Alan Ritchson that well. He does look like he could play the part. Axe and chops, I don't know. He could be solid at that. Adam, you mentioned was it Brandon Sklenar earlier? I like him for the role of Batman. I think he would be a good shout because again, he's a good action star.
I think he's not as big as Alan Richardson.
No one's as big as Alan Richardson.
No, it's,
Yeah.
Well, except for the guy who he's up against in I think the new season 4, who's like that man is an actual mountain. I can't remember what his name is now, but that guy's insanely large. Yeah, that guy's insanely large. Pete, while we're on you, what and great thoughts, Jim, by the way. Pete, what are your thoughts here? Any of these 4 slides stand out to you the most?
Sorry, Vita, but I don't really. I'm not that invested in Cavill. I think that
She's offended. She's just voted you off the show.
I quite like Man of Steel, but I'm not a BVS or Justice League fan in any way at all. I think obviously he if he was made promises that weren't kept, then okay, that's one thing. But obviously, ultimately, they killed off all of that team, and none of them are reprising their roles. So it kind of had come to its natural end, I think, and he was probably just sold a bum deal. But he's an adult, he's a big man, he's moved on, he's doing his Warhammer thing now. So I don't think he's probably that mad about it.
He just had a baby too, I saw.
Has he? Yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah. Congrats to him.
Yeah. Alan Ritchson, 100% all the way. My choice for Batman. He's brilliant. And Vita, if you get a chance, do watch Reacher, because I think not only has he got the kind of the physical appearance, but just the way, the violence in the man. If you played him like Reacher, where he's just think of like, I'm not a fan, but John Wick with guns. It's just so fluid, and this guy just doesn't ask questions. He knows what he's doing. He comes in. He's man of very few words, which is kind of works with Batman a bit. But yeah, his level of violence is fantastic, and I think it would embody that kind of that violent Batman that we saw with Affleck, which everyone kind of loved. Because he is all about. All right, he uses intelligence, his gadgets, but at the end of the day, he's going to get in some fisticuffs. He's going to get in some brawls, and I think with this guy, it'd be fantastic. You can see him like breaking people's backs and shoving, I don't know, all sorts of things in their brains and stuff. It would be great. I think and as James Gunn has said there, he's not necessarily looking for a tone throughout them all. So if it was a standalone Batman movie, it could kind of really be a proper brawler. And then obviously, if he then again, we assume at some point, if this is all successful enough, that it'll all come together and we'll kind of have a Justice League again. And then obviously then they can probably pare him back a little bit. But he'll be fantastic. I really hope. It's great because obviously, James Gunn said he's a fan. I think Alan Ritchson has said that he would love to play Batman. So we've got, interested parties both sides. So it'd be lovely if something could be worked out there. As for the others, Brainiac, interesting character, that'd be cool. I think we've got plenty of scope for. I think Lex is always going to have to be your opening salvo, because he is synonymous with Superman. But I think go forward, there's plenty of characters in the background. Clayface, I don't have any experience with at all, apart from playing him in Lego Batman, and he was just a big hulking guy that just smashed things up. In this, it looks very much like I'm getting a kind of like H.P. Lovecraft kind of Call of Cthulhu look there, like it's a kind of dynamic possession kind of thing. He's got a random eye popping out of his cheek, and I assume that it's possibly going to kind of go, if it's like a horror thing, it'd be a bit like, just to go back to Superman, I think some of the two quite disturbing scenes were when those nanoids infected Superman and Crypto. They went into their lungs and stuff, and I can imagine this will be the same sort of thing where he'll be kind of like going into people's bodies, and a bit like something like from The Boys. He could go into them and then just like explode them from inside, rather than just be a traditional.
That sounds great.
Yeah, that's kind of what. Yeah, well, that's basically what he is, isn't he? He's a shapeshifter. So if they take it to that next level where he can kind of like actually go into a body and destroy it from the inside, that would fit into the horror thing, and that might be quite interesting.
Yeah. Well, honestly, just body horror in general, right? I mean, have you ever seen Jeff Goldblum's The Fly? As he's slowly transitioning into The Fly, that is freaking terrifying.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So I can imagine really any shape-shifting creature, if they do it well, will be horrific just to watch him morph into different things.
Yeah.
And potentially painful and like all right. So could be really interesting to see. And like as I said, a rated R film or like a very horrific rated R film in this universe, I think will be interesting to see. It'll be interesting too, because I think like when I think about the Marvel films, I feel like Marvel has really tried to set the same tone across the board so everybody can go and see every Marvel film, right? With the exception of maybe, I guess, Deadpool and Wolverine is a little more rated R, but overall it's been very kind of the same tone. Whereas clearly this is not the case. It's like, depending on the character, you are going to get that character, so be prepared, right? Which I'm excited for. I think that'll actually get people a little more excited to see different characters, even ones that don't necessarily stand out to them as their favorites, right? Like, not everybody's a Clayface fan, but I'm gonna go see the first rated R DC movie, and that's a horror film. Hell yeah, I want to see what that's all about, right? So, Adam, before we jump into 6 scale, what are your thoughts here, buddy? Any of these 1 of 4 slides standing out to you the most?
Well, let me just address it from 1,000 feet, okay? Before Superman came out, and I think you got to give a tremendous amount of credit to James Gunn. And of course, it's ironic that the first superhero is the one that might save the superhero film, and that's Superman. Because what was the conversation? Captain America: Brave New World, box office failure. Some people liked it. I'm not one of them. I thought it had problems. Thunderbolts, I liked that movie. It was a bomb, okay? Didn't make money. And some of the shows on Disney Plus have not been successful. Movies before this year have not been successful. You know, Marvel has had a kind of uneven run. Yeah, Deadpool Wolverine was a big hit. Spider-Man No Way Home. But they haven't, not every one of those has been bangers since Endgame. And DC, you know, it's been well documented the problems they've had. Whether you like the films or not, it hasn't been perfect, or they wouldn't have rebooted it. So a lot was riding on James Gunn's Superman. The fact that we're talking right now about casting and different movies coming out, that shows that James Gunn deserves a lot of credit for saving the comic book film. Because what were people talking about? Comic book fatigue, comic book movie fatigue. Now, I don't know how Fantastic Four is going to be. Going to see it on Friday. I'm optimistic, but let's say
Holy Word is really good.
Yeah, but let's say it's not. Let's say it's not as successful. There might be stories about Marvel fatigue and Marvel problems, and maybe Kevin Feige should go. I'm not saying that, but that's what people might say. But they're not going to be comic book movie fatigue, because Superman's proved that there's still life in this genre. So I think that's a great thing. As a fan of Superman, I was always a fan of DC first growing up. And I like Marvel, but the last few years, Marvel films have been more consistently good compared to DC, at least in establishing this shared universe. Now, in terms of the casting, I think James Gunn was being polite, and I think I'd love to have Henry Cavill. Maybe he'll put him in as like a voiceover or something like that. But, you know, I think he was being political. I think he was being nice. I genuinely think he feels bad for the guy for being shafted in terms of the timing there. I think it's more likely you're going to see Henry Cavill as the Calverine, as a rebooted Wolverine, because, you know, as much as they joked about Hugh Jackman playing Wolverine till he's 90, you know, it's not. I think maybe we got 1 or 2 more movies left in him. And then we're going to see new actors take on these roles.
Changing of the guard.
Yeah. Batman. I mean, yeah, I like to. I don't see Alan Ritchson. I like Reacher. He physically can play it. I just, based on the interview, I don't see him being cast. It's too much of a fan casting. Directors don't seem to like those type of things. They want to put their own stamp on it. I mentioned, you know, before the show, I could see Brendan Sklenar, who is Spencer Dutton in 1923. He's got the looks. He can have the physique. He's got the intensity for Bruce Wayne Batman. But I'll tell you what, even though he denies it, I don't put it past them for making the Batman 2, the Matt Reeves Batman, making that, retconning this and making that part of the new DC universe, because Pattinson is, you know, a contemporary, age-wise, of Current Sweat. So I wouldn't be surprised if they changed their mind on that. But you know, the Clayface, I like that they're going different genres of film, and being comfortable, just like Peacemaker. As James Gunn said, Peacemaker season 2 is going to be a very hard R-rated show. That's great. I think you need to have, you know, as much as the consistency of Marvel with that formula was good, after a while it started to get stale, and you need to have some sort of variation. Have that shared universe, have the Easter eggs, great, have the connection, but tell your own story. Brainiac, I would love to see Brainiac. He, to my mind, he along with Lex Luthor and Doomsday, maybe Mr. Mxyzptlk, he's a top tier Superman villain, and he hasn't been done in the big screen yet. So he's one that I think we need in either the next film or an upcoming storyline with Brainiac. I think that would be fantastic.
Totally. I'm not familiar with Mr. Mxyzptlk, honestly. I heard that in the interview yesterday too, and I was like, that is not one that I'm familiar with. But obviously Doomsday, I mean, is kind of a Thanos style level threat as well, right? So yeah, man, great thoughts there, dude. Great thoughts. And I agree in terms of just the comic book fatigue versus just needing a good story to get people back on board, right? We were getting fatigued with lackluster stories, and something to come back and bring us back. I think that's exciting because there's so many characters in the DC universe that I like hope that they get to, literally so many. So we'll see what the next 10 to 20 years brings, because we're already in year 15 now of Marvel. Like, it's gone by pretty freaking quick considering, and I want to be an old man thinking about crazy, awesome DC Universe movies that I've seen now in the last 20 years. So, guys, let's move on. But thank you so much for sticking with us through our entertainment news section. It went a little bit longer than I anticipated today, but we had lots to say, and I love these guys for getting us all warmed up here for 6-scale counterparts. Just some housekeeping really quickly. If you are interested in the Hall of Nut armor, there is the QR code there for you. Of course, if you become a channel member of the Classy Nuts, you will have these member badges beside your name as you progress through. These are, of course, now being made into stickers, lots of stickers. So anybody who ends up becoming a Nut King will also, of course, have stickers now sent out to them as well as they progress through the ranks. I've been told that I made them that membership too cheap. I didn't do it to make money. I just did it to try to cover my cost, which stickers are expensive. So now I know, but I'm glad everybody's going to get one. I'm excited about it. The reason I have this slide up here is part of the Nut Kings, again, because there is a few more dollars associated with that if you go to that level. These are all of the things that you get with that level. So please screenshot that if that's something you guys are interested in. Also, I'm going to start doing the Nut King send-outs or mail-outs next week. So if you are a Nut King and you have not provided your information, your address information, please scan this QR code. Please fill out the form. It's private, only I see it, but that will give me your name and address so that I can make sure I get that mail out to you guys once they are all packaged up, okay? And then, of course, these are all of our channel members. Like I said, we have over 50 channel members. I will read your names at the end, but I was happy to see all of the involvement on the Nut King side. Either way, I'm just happy you guys are here watching. Even if you're just subscribers and just having a good time with us for free, it still means a lot to me how often you guys contribute, how many people are consistently messaging me after my videos that I make every week. It makes me feel like I'm not losing my mind. I was all stressed because I was in Nashville and I was like, shit, the Fantastic Four came out and I can't make a video right now, like I've been trying to do lately. And I was all stressed that I was going to miss the boat, and then over 1,100 people have already watched that video and commented and all the things. So again, thank you guys for being supporters of me and my channel and all of my friends here on the panel, because these guys are the real ones as well, of course. But of course, without further ado here, they've changed StreamYard. I don't know if anybody else is seeing this on your end, but they've really changed StreamYard, so I can't find anything. Let's say hi to the chat, as we always do.
Is that everyone? I can want it more.
Nuts!
Assemble.
I'm gonna have to make a new one of those once all the DC characters are being introduced. You'll have to see it. So we got Vita, aka her geeky side. Make sure you follow her Instagram. Really great stuff over there, and a lovely soul. Thank you for being here, my friend. We got one Adam 12th in the chat, as well as on the panel, as well as in the membership. You'll have to see it, buddy. Good to see you here, as always, as tradition. Jim, the collector, just went off screen trying to get Vita drunk, obviously, because it was her birthday yesterday, by the way. So everybody in the chat, if you guys can write happy birthday to Vita, I would very much appreciate that. Yeah, look at her. She had to rally like Bane. When we're talking about Bane, she was drunk last night. She was like, I'm gonna still be there, Ben. I am going to be there. So I appreciate that. Mr. Mark P, let's go. Good to see you, buddy. We got Viking Collectibles here. Evening, everyone. Let's get nuts. You know what, my friend. Howdy, folks from Clinton Martin. You love to see it, of course. Mr. 12-inch Moose Stream, one of our nut kings. Hello, community of collectors. I unboxed a DX05. Do you know what figure that is, Ben? And hi, Adam. DX05. Indiana Jones? I did not know that.
I think it is. Could be wrong.
It is.
Let us know if it's Indy.
I can't think there's any redeeming parts of that figure these days. I don't know why you'd want that, but yeah.
Hey, you never know. If they don't make a younger version, it's still a grail, in my opinion. Honest Hansel, what's up, Classy? That's good to see you, buddy. We got L Walker, just became one of our newest channel members, of course, as well. Good to see you, buddy. Thanks for being here. We got Mr. JB in the chat with us, of course, as well. Good to see you. Howdy all. Scary clown makeup. You make it look good, though, bud. Let's see here. Who else do we got? Mr. Blair Dad Life. Ben, you should have both options in the poll. Yeah, I really messed that poll up. I'm still new to the polls, guys. You know, don't judge. We got Mr. Geo, the movie canon. Good to see you here, buddy. Thanks for always being here. Make sure you check out the movie canon's YouTube channel, because he's got some of these great folks, including Adam, and you know, I think Jim and Vita. Have you been on Geo's show yet? Yeah. Great show over there. Great community that he's built up. So we got Mr. Yomo. What's up, everyone? Hope you're well, buddy, and your little one hopefully is doing well as well. Trevor Weed, our newest nut king of the week last week. You love to see it. Thanks for being here, buddy. We got Mr. Mark. It says, I love in-art Superman Cavill in this version are second to none, but my only complaint is his arms can't raise above his head. Maybe the fabrics are restricting or something. Yeah, unfortunately, that can be the trade-off just in 6 scale, right? I am Vengeance. Good to see you here. Thanks for being here as always. We got 2 droids, 1 pod. That's a new name for me. I love to see it, though. I'm definitely leaning in-art on this one. By the way, guys, while I read through, if you don't mind, we got 50 people watching live. If you don't mind hitting the like button, if you haven't already, it just helps get the stream out to people on the replay after. I really, really appreciate that. Erman Hazim, good to see you here. And Jim is his man. Love to see you. You gotta. Is that one of your buddies there, buddy, or you just got a fan? You love to see it. We got Big Poser here. What's up, though? Good to see you, buddy. We got Mr. Jose Plus. Good to see you with a spoiler alert. Yeah, sorry, I was a little bit late on that one. I spoil everything. I'm like Tom Holland. I just talk about shit for a while, and then I realize I'm spoiling everything. You hate to see it. So thanks for not getting mad at me, guys. I appreciate it. Mr. Field of Burn. Robert, what's up, buddy? Good to see you, my friend. As always, we got Dericus Maximus here. Would love a Helen Slater Supergirl too. Hell yeah. Well, keep an eye out for that Jazzinc one, man. I think it's going to come at some point. Mr. Ron E, one of our Nut Kings and channel members. Good to see you, buddy, and being super generous again earlier with a super sticker. Thanks for that, my friend. Brick Artemis, one of my favorites, of course, out there in the world as well. You can catch him, of course, on his own channel or on Wolfpack Wednesday, where he brings the heat. He increases the drama. He ignites the fires within his team. I love to see it, buddy. Good to see you, man. Happy you're here. Hope your little ones are doing well as well, because Brick is a busy guy. He's on shows and he's got like three whole children. I just keep a cat alive. So I respect that. Rogue One Photography. Hey, everyone. Good to see you, buddy. Thanks for being here. As always, I think that's almost everybody. Figures and Fandom. Steve, good to see you, my friend. As always, Rogue One Photography. Here, of course, with us as well. Saying hi to Vita specifically. Oh, my goodness. It's her birthday, so you got to make sure you say happy birthday. Music and Collectibles, happy hello, good to see you. Awesome photo, by the way. Fat Gadget in the chat. Something tells me that the multi-millionaire Henry Cavill will have moved on. Yep, I mean, probably, right? So Aaron articulates in the chat, says, evening, everyone. Sorry, a bit late. Was taking my secret girlfriend to the Coldplay gig. You are a married man, sir. I want to see you duck under that camera if you get shown up on the screen, my friend. Honest Hansel in the chat with us as well. Good to see you here. S Beam in the team. in the chat. Hello all. Hope you're having a good day. Good to see you, buddy, as always. X-Men Supreme. Dave, we haven't had you here in a little while, buddy. I got to poke you, I guess, again. Get you back here soon, but hopefully you are doing well and safe on the road, guys, of course, as well. Clinton Martin saying happy birthday to Vita. Happy 21st birthday, Vita. Yeah, I mean, I'd believe it, honestly. She told me your age yesterday, and I was shocked. I thought you were killing it. You're killing it. SBM is gifted 5 Ben Thomas Show memberships. Dude, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Here, let me get off this screen really quickly. Let's just see here. SBM, you're my number 1 guy.
You are my number 1 guy.
I gotta stop using that one. It's a little creepy, but it makes me laugh every time, so I don't even care. Cool. I think that's everybody we got. I think we got everybody. Although Low Key Collector, I think I missed him. I'm seeing somebody say hello to Low Key, but I didn't see you in here, buddy. So Low Key, if you're here, love you, man. Hope you're doing well. Be safe out in the roads out there. Let's jump into some 6 scale. I'm gonna just briefly touch on the next 2 topics, guys, because I want to spend most of the rest of our time today on Fantastic Four and Sidious, of course. But Jazzinc, if you are interested, he's obviously been working on his sitting down version of Batman. This is one of the photos that he's shown this week, both angles. I don't love it, if I'm being fully honest. The cowl looks like a very odd shape. So I'm sure they're still tweaking it a little bit. I also don't see Keaton as much in it as I would have thought, if I'm being honest. This one faced this direction. In the lips, I do see it a little bit. But I think it's in the eyes and the cowl that's
and he's got
throwing
a
it
5 or a 6 head there as well.
It's huge, right?
Yeah.
Like, it seems really large.
Egghead.
So
yeah,
it's odd. So having said that, it's a very reasonable price, and it's meant to go into a vehicle. So I think for the idea of it, most of the time, unlike our current figure displays, it's not going to be out on display as much as it is just a functional piece of your vehicle, right? And I think it's really cool that they're giving it to us. I do hope they continue to tweak it, maybe just a little bit more on the shape. But
do you know how much it's going to be?
I want to say it was $150, but I could be wrong on that. I could be wrong on that. So
still a
if anybody knows
money
in the chat, let us know again. But I think it was $150 if I'm not mistaken. It's basically half the cost of a figure from my recollection. It's interesting too, because this is something that Jazz just didn't need to give us, right? So part of me is like, I don't want to be too critical, because it's not something that like they had to do for us as collectors. And I have seen a lot of collectors in the different groups say they love it and they're happy with it. So don't let my criticism get you down if you're really excited for this one to come. But I will say, thought it looked a little bit strange. Also, I wanted to shout out X06 for replacing Wesley Crusher's comm badge. This goes along with my theory over the years that X06 does have a lot of QC issues and realism problems, and I really freaking hated that Wesley Crusher, so I think it's hilarious that they also messed up his badge at the same time. However, they are sending out new badges or comm badges for the figure. The one thing that they've said here is that you can just glue it on. I don't know if you guys have ever tried to glue on plastic onto material. It's not that easy, and you can easily make a mess. So be really careful if you're ripping that off and popping a new one on. And then last but not least, I wanted to quickly shout out, I did make a video on this character. This is something that came out last Tuesday. Again, I was away in Nashville, so I didn't get a chance to touch on it very quickly. But if you are a Star Trek fan, especially a Strange New Worlds fan, of course, Christine Chappell, she's the Doctor in the show. I think this looks horrendous. Spoiler. I put out a video yesterday.
They got that butter out again.
God damn, man. She's such a beautiful woman, and I'm like, what happened, guys? What happened? Now, I was critical of figures in the past, and I've said, sometimes X06 will improve from their proto to final. Some I've seen, like the Hoshi figure, for example, was a good example of an improvement, in my opinion. But the last couple I've seen have been the wrong trajectory. Wesley especially, wrong trajectory. And I don't have any confidence at all that they're going to change this one single bit from what we're seeing here. So it's offensive, in my opinion.
I even think they've nailed the outfit, which is what they're
That's
normally
one of the things that I'd said too.
Point with as well. That's
100%.
kind of often makes up for some discrepancies in the head sculpt, but this one, the fit and everything just doesn't look right at all.
She's got 80s shoulder pads.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Hardcore. Well, and even like the dots are like the
Yeah.
wrong size. There's a lot
Yeah.
more dots per section on the actual outfit.
Mhm. Yeah.
It just doesn't look cinched enough. The collar's also too high. Like so much of it, I was like, oh my god, like I really
not
don't
good.
love it. This actress, she hasn't been in a ton of things, so it's not like you're like, oh man, it's not the greatest character, but I gotta have her in my display. Either, right? And so she's very much a side character, although within the same line, the Pike and Spock, so same show, Pike and Spock I actually think came out pretty decently considering.
Yeah.
So again, a little bit of one of those like head shake worthy moments with Exo-6 where you go, how can you look at the same line and have 3 characters and one of the 3 be real rough and the rest be like not too bad? Is it because it's a female character and they just haven't been able to dial in female characters? Because sometimes I've even had that criticism of Hot Toys where some female characters look a little on the soft side, I think because they have no age lines and no definition in their face in the same way a grizzled old dude might look, right? It's harder to sculpt, but
So
but then we've got some great females, so it's hard to say.
Have you had any comments from Nanjin yet on your video?
Not yet, but he calls me an expert, so I appreciate that.
Yeah,
I'm one of his so-called experts.
Love it.
And
Badge
again,
of honor,
like,
that is, mate.
oh my god. Well, and I've said it in many times, right? I've been supporting Star Trek figures and Exo-6 for 3 years. I think I'm the only one who actually makes videos on any of these characters, from what I can find, anyways. And for better or for worse, my goal isn't to shit on them. My goal is to just say, like, hey, can some of these be improved, or like what's the direction, or can you give us a little more information or whatever? Like,
it's all for the greater good.
Yeah, well, because Pete, I still had people message me after my hot take video this week and say, hey, I still really like this. I'm still buying it. Frig, that's awesome. That's awesome. I'm happy for those people. I just, again, these are not cheap.
You know, he doesn't take negative criticism, so it's just not worth it sometimes.
No.
That's right. Well, and they're
he
just
doesn't
not
take
cheap
questions
as well.
easily.
No, he doesn't take
negative criticism. If you ask
He
him a
keeps
question
telling
on
you-
Facebook, yeah,
It makes a big thing about telling you that all his staff have got one eye or, one arm and...
if you just ask where the Wrath of Khan figures of Kirk, Spock, and McCoy are, and I'm not talking about in a hostile way, just ask the question, he will not take it kindly.
No.
Very fair, very fair. But we'll move away from Star Trek because if you guys are interested, go and take a look at that video on Nurse Chapel and what I hope the direction of Exo-6 will take moving forward. Let's see here. We got episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. Palpatine has been released by Hot Toys. And I will say, this thing turned out pretty freaking great. My only concern is very much a this or that contender, as you guys have seen on the shows. Because while this one looks great and he's very like evil looking, like very freaking evil looking.
Watch your fingers there, Palps.
Yeah, right. The Palpatine Darth Sidious has also been, announced by Hot Toys. Hasn't been released yet, but I can't imagine this one is going to be that much further down the line. And once the Palpatine figure was given to us, I thought that it ended up being a better value or a better package for collectors because you could do the Sidious look, or you could do the Palpatine look, or you could kit bash a figure or whatever. But do you need both of these in the display? And of course, the episode 3 Revenge of the Sith that you see on the left, that one's coming out to collectors first. So how many people are going to cancel this one in favor of the Palpatine that gives both looks? But I was curious, Adam, in terms of Star Wars collectibles, how many Palpatines does one need? And is there one that would stand out for you as like the figure for your display if you're going to buy into one?
Well, for me personally, I need them all. But for those who are one and done, I can understand just getting the most recently announced one that gives you the options of the Chancellor Palpatine head sculpt and then the Darth Sidious head sculpt. But I'll tell you, I have this not this one, but the one that just was released on pre-order. I think it looks, in Palpatine's words, I think it looks good. I love Palpatine. He is I think he's top 5, maybe top 3 favorite villains of all time. Maybe number 1 and on the hot list of villains.
High praise.
I have the Emperor. I actually have the Clone Wars Palpatine that came out. It's Clone Wars Darth Sidious, but he doesn't have the scarred look, and I have him as my Chancellor look. Now I'm a Star Wars lunatic, so I have almost 100 Star Wars Hot Toys figures. So for me, I need to have both, because I'm gonna have the one that just was released the other day, standing with my Artisan Anakin, with his Force lightning coming out of his fingers, and then I'm going to get this one that you're showing on screen right now. And that what was the clincher for me for getting this. Sideshow had their Sideshow Con videos this past week, and they showed this new figure, the one that's going to be released like next year, standing next to Vader on the table. And I have Vader on the table on pre-order. And to me, having that figure in the dark robe standing next to Vader, with that iconic scene from episode 3, like, I got to have that. So, yeah, I think if you're a Star Wars lunatic like me, you want them all. But if you're just one and done, I could see just getting the one that has yet to come out. But you know what? This new one that just was released, I mean, this will pair well if they come out with the new Yoda, which I gotta think at some point they're gonna come out with another Yoda, because that's another iconic scene too, where he's fighting Yoda in the Senate chamber.
I want another Dagobah Yoda, mostly like the puppet version of him from Empire Strikes Back.
I think that's probably due for
that. I feel like at least 8 years, if not longer, from the last release. I feel like that's one I would really like to track down. But no, great thoughts, Adam. Jim and Vita, you guys either can go over at the same time, or you can compete if you want. Rock paper scissors it. But in terms of Star Wars here, and of course our boy Palpatine. For me, I'll be honest, when Adam was talking about definitive Palpatines, for me, the one that stands out most, I think, would be Emperor Palpatine and Throne. Now, that's a figure that we've had from Hot Toys in the past, but I do think that I would love to see a reissue of that one if they could tweak it a little bit and improve it, especially since we got the return of the Jedi Vader, of course, last year, right? I thought for sure they'd give us the Emperor and Throne again then, and they never did. But that's not to say that they won't. I don't know if I need these earlier versions of Palpatine, even though he's very sinister, the figures look great, and there's a couple of different options. What stands out to you for Palpatine now that you guys have, got through all the Star Wars films? Is this a character you guys even like or would want to collect? What are your thoughts?
So I'm kind of with Adam. Like, Sidious is one of my favorite villains of all time.
Oh, nice. Okay.
He's just he's brilliant. You don't see him as much. How much of a mastermind he is in the just through the movies, but if you go to some of the extended media, and especially if you read the Darth Plagueis book as well, that's really interesting if you want to learn a bit about Palpatine and Sidious as they come up. So yeah, I really like Darth Sidious, Emperor Palpatine. I think he's fantastic, and it's interesting that you mentioned the Palpatine on the throne, because I remember when I first got into the hobby, if you wanted Sidious, that was the one you had to get. There was no other options. Whereas now we have, what is this, the third one, and then the one coming out later, that will be the fourth Sidious Palpatine that we now have. So we've suddenly got all these options. Which
this or that or that or that. It's gonna be quite the video.
Yeah. You could, to be fair. But I could see the one that's to be released, the Palpatine Sidious, being kind of a lot of people's ultimate one, if they're going to have one, because it does get you the two looks, and I totally get that. And he has a more of a neutral look on his Sidious sculpt as well, which I can see a lot of people enjoying. Me personally, I pre-ordered the one on the left first before they announced this one, and initially I was kind of kicking myself, but the more I think about it, I'm more than happy just to keep the one on the left there. I think that's a really good sculpt. He looks sinister and horrifying. He almost looks like a horror character, as we were saying on Feezy's show earlier. So I reckon he'll stand out quite well on the shelf. And again, like you said, if they announce a Yoda, perfect to pair him with Yoda, finally, after all this time. in that battle. So I think this is a really good option, and I like this outfit of his as well compared to the other one. I don't know, I prefer it over the red and black, which is probably a slightly controversial thing. But yeah, no, I think they've done well, and I like how they've integrated the electric onto his sculpted hands as well, rather than it being like something that sticks on. So
yeah, it literally looks like it's coming out of his fingers, right? Which is really cool.
yeah, exactly.
And that's a
I
great.
wish they could have made him light up.
Yeah,
That's a great addition. The Force Lightning hands,
Yeah.
because I have the Return of the Jedi Emperor, and when you put the Force Lightning on him, it's kind of like will sag down a bit. So this is an improvement.
absolutely. Vita, I want to ask you a slightly different question. Slightly different. Because you didn't start out as a collector, obviously you've really been drinking the Kool-Aid this last year. You've been on the live shows. You know, you're often on these shows now where everybody's like, are you going to get it? Are you going to get it? And when I started doing YouTube, you know, a couple years back, the consensus with YouTubers at the time was very much like every figure that came up, people would say, yeah, I'm getting it. And I thought you must have like this fantastic job to be able to do all that. But then you start thinking about all the characters, right? Like Jim just mentioned, there's at least 4, if not more, Palpatines. Did you ever think you were going to be interested in a hobby where you'd have so much selection of a character that you might not feel is like your number one in your heart? Man, I could be wrong. I don't know if it is or not for you, but you know, like what's your perspective on collecting at this point now that you've got a chance to see like how in depth it goes on some of these characters? Like, does it make you excited about the hobby still? Does it freak you out with regards to the hobby? Because you're obviously surrounded by characters that you love too, but like this gets into the minutia of characters when you have this much selection. What does that look like for you?
So I'm like very practical, and I always want to make sure like I can the best figure, let's say, for my money. So like I'm always like, okay, so like if you would look at the old figures and like you would look at the re-releases, like it's a massive difference. So I'm always like, oh, like I really have to love the prototypes, like pictures and all, and I really have to love the character to pre-order it, because for me it's like, oh, I can most likely maybe find it later, because if they're gonna like release, I don't know, like the newer version or slightly different version, like in this case, you know, lots of people might resell then the episode 3, let's say, figure, because they would want to get the Darth Sidious one. So essentially for me it would be, I always like, even now when James is much hotter to like go and pre-order something, and I'm like, nah, I need to see it. I need to see it. I need somebody to make a video. I need to see ins and outs. I need to see it up to close. I need to see it not from blogger photos and things like that. So far the only figure I pre-ordered is Snape, and that was like easy for me because I love Harry Potter. But with Star Wars, especially, like seeing the trends, like there's so many figures coming out for Star Wars. Like there's so many choices for like, and for all the series, for animated series, for all the side series we have, like, you know, any character you can think of at this point, we almost have them all. So it's a great thing because you can choose the figure you like the most, but at the same time it makes me always wonder, oh, but there might be the better one come along.
Yeah.
And I'm the person who I want to have the best one, in my opinion. So 100%. I'm like, oh, but if I'm just gonna wait a bit longer, I might get this better version. So like initially, like I was looking at the sale of some figures as well, and I was like, oh, maybe I should get this one. Then I started watching the videos, and just this, it meant to be like my first figure I would buy. I ended up not buying anything because I was like, this is not good enough.
Is that how you feel about Jim?
I love it.
He's the best there is at the moment, but when something better comes along, he's out the door.
It lasted a long time then, to be fair. So it must be.
Yeah, I mean it's been like 12 years now, so you know, I haven't.
He's a keeper now.
Yet.
Yeah.
I heard Henry Cavill just moved into your hometown. Just put it out there. Yeah. No pressure.
He's a child now, and also, you know, I'm not a home breaker.
I better not
Fair,
find you on a
fair.
Coldplay Jumbotron, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
The meeting in London.
Yeah, yeah.
Has there anything that's united people of all over the world, all different persuasions
Yeah.
and views, but the Coldplay Jumbotron couple, the Kiss Cam couple? I mean,
Wow.
I feel bad for them, but it's united everyone in discussion.
Yep.
Wow.
It's on like newspapers, like as well.
It's everywhere. It's everywhere. But back to you, Vita.
Yeah,
I think
Jim
that
said they yeah, go on. Sorry.
No. Finish your thought. Finish your thought.
Oh no, I was just saying, as Jim said about it, like they made it worse reacting that way, just because
I
that's
know,
why it
yeah.
went viral.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody would have known.
No,
They were like,
no.
"Oh, hey, yeah, that's it,
Yeah,
right?"
exactly.
So, but again, when you know you're doing something wrong, it's like shining a light on a rat, right? You shine a light on a rat, they're gonna scurry. That's just the way she goes. So don't cheat on your on your spouses, and you should never have to worry about that shit. But back to what you were saying, though, Vita, I do agree with you in terms of the collecting piece, because even I think that's something that newer collectors or people who are newer to the hobby do feel often, especially when they start consuming YouTube content like this. That it's Ben said this was a great figure, so I should get this one, but then the next one comes out and it's like, okay, this is the perfect example of that. The next one came out and I think that one's better. And so who am I to say, who are any of us to say you should get this one or you should get that one? It should resonate with you, whether it's your number one character, your favorite villain, maybe a favorite portrayal in one of the films, right? Like, do it that way, because otherwise it's so easy to make the wrong buying choice. You can get fear of missing out on the current one, but I also get fear of missing out of like, well, what if they never make the next one? Well, then what? Then I just don't have the character that I want. Like, but as soon as you buy it, that's when they release the. It's just like, it's tough to navigate. So there has to be more reasons to buy than just it looks cool, I want it on a shelf. And I think you nailed that perfectly. So very well said, guys. I want to move on to Fantastic Four for the last leg of the show here. Fantastic Four is coming up this coming week. I am very excited. Of the 3 films in July, we talked about Jurassic Park, earlier on previous episodes of Let's Get Nuts. We talked about Superman now today a little bit, now that we've had a chance to see it. And Fantastic Four, wow, can't speak, is going to be my next highly anticipated one. I'm really, really hoping it turns out well. And one of the things that I've liked about Hot Toys lately is it seems like they're actually making an active effort to try and get collectibles shown before the film comes out. So Deadpool was a great example of that recently. The Superman was a great example of that. And now, of course, Fantastic Four. And while we're going to look at all the characters of Fantastic Four that has been shown so far, some people have said, hey, there's some spoilerness in here. Some people have said, no, it's not spoilers. They showed most of it in the trailer. I think I lean a little bit more to that. I don't think most of this is spoiler territory for the film, but there is some assumed spoiler in this that I'll talk about with, kind of per figure, right? But let's first talk about, Mr. Fantastic and Herbie. There's 2 different SKUs, it looks like, of Mr. Fantastic, so you can get one of just him on his own terms or him with the Herbie bot. Say, for example, you only want one figure. You could technically have both. I think for me, the Pedro sculpt is a little weird to be honest. It looks like he's had like some weird Botox or like a little bit of surgery or something that's like, you can tell that it's definitely Pedro, but like, what the hell happened to him? I was thinking about it with regards to this photo because I'd shown the Joel figure from The Last of Us that came up from Hot Toys a week or 2 ago now, and I thought that looked fantastic. I thought it looked exactly like Pedro, so I was very excited to see what they did with Fantastic Four 1, and I didn't like it as much. If
I'm really
being
disappointed
honest.
to see that they didn't go with the old salt and pepper. The
like
And
the
the temples.
streaks,
Look.
like
no, it
right?
should be. Like this.
100%.
This
That's
is-
a good.
is his
That's a
look.
very good call. That's a
And
very good call.
That's really annoying. Yeah, disappointing, I think. Wouldn't be
The other piece
difficult to do.
The other piece that's weird here for this particular figure, everybody, is that of course you got the stretchable body section. So there's like a swappable torso with the stretched arms, essentially, or like the stretched legs. That is a different material than the figure proper. So depending on how you display it, both like half of your figure is going to have 2 different material choices, which is a little bit weird. But it also means that you're going to essentially have the equivalent of one figure in your closet or in your box without a sculpt, kind of at all times. So one of the things that I've been considering is going after that Chrome Mando now finally and upgrading my Beskar Mando, getting the Pedro sculpt from that figure and turning this figure into 2 figures, one that's stretching and one that's not. wouldn't be quite perfect, but it's a concept that I've been, dabbling in. Adam, I'll go to you. What are your thoughts on the Pedro likeness and this Mr. Fantastic, first of all?
I thought the likeness was pretty good. I guess the one thing I'm a little confused on this figure is it a statue or is it a figure? Because it seemed like there's not a lot of articulation. Is it because you swap out the whole torso, or is it just the arm?
So the
stretched
the stretched parts are basically a statue. When he's in his non-stretched form, he's essentially a figure.
Yeah, I think I think it's not bad. I do think the Joel head sculpt is superior to Reed Richards, but I like that. Certainly, like you get. Well, I guess as an option, you could get Herbie or not get Herbie with him. But I think it's. I actually think of the 4 figures or the 3 figures. They haven't officially released one of them yet. I think there's one that's I'm not as crazy. This is better than one of the ones we're going to talk about.
Well, here I've got all the photos, so I'll scroll through them. Give me your take on all of them. Then it might be a little more efficient in terms of it than going through character to character.
Look, I think out of all these, there's a couple takes in this. One, I think you can get away with just getting the Galactus figure and having them little mini figures. If you're a super Fantastic Four fan, listen, you're gonna want all these. But if you like Fantastic Four and you're like, you know what, I kind of want some representation, but maybe I'm gonna wait and see. Maybe I want to wait for Avengers Doomsday, Secret Wars, see if there's different outfits that I might like instead. And again, these maybe you just want one and dones of these, but you want to wait a bit. I could see just getting Galactus and being one and done. It'll fit in. You can put it on your floor, however you want to display your figure. Hang it from your ceiling. I think X-Men Supreme suggested that, hanging it from the ceiling.
That'd be cool.
Or you could just get. I think for a lot of people, Thing might be a figure that they're just going to get the Thing. And I think the Thing looks fantastic. No pun intended.
So good.
Yeah, I think, and this gives, you can have him with your Hulk. You could have him with Wolverine. With I have She-Hulk. There's a lot of options you could have the Thing with, because he's kind of had a solo career in Marvel Comics, as opposed to some of the other characters. So I see people getting just the Thing. Then the Sue Storm is good, but I think that's the weakest of them. I think the baby looks creepy. Franklin Richards. Just something about the sculpt looks creepy to me. I really like Herbie. And actually, it was when I initially saw it, I thought it looked pretty good. But I was talking to Jose Plus, and he was pointing out the hair, and since he's pointed out, I can't unsee it. So yeah, the hair, it doesn't look great. There's just something about it that seems off.
Johnny, I the hair, if I'm being honest, and I like that the hair is sculpted behind her ear like that too. That's different than anything I think I've seen before from hair. But fair, I mean, teach their own.
Johnny, we've only seen that one photo. I've only seen one photo, so I can't really make a judgment on that because I need to see more. But
this photo here, this one,
yeah, it's the only one I've seen.
Assume with him, you're going to have 2 figures basically, because you're going to have a statue of him with flame on.
With a flame on. Yeah, it's just curious to me why they didn't announce him at the same time as the others. Yeah. And
must be a spoiler in with this figure or something.
Yeah,
something that they don't want. They don't want to show.
But I got to think they're going to announce him. They should announce him this week. And when they announce all these, go on sale at the same time, because listen, Hot Toys has shown a lot of figures before. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, Drax and Mantis and the team suits still hasn't been released. Gambit and Elektra from Deadpool and Wolverine still hasn't been released, part of the Resistance. So I think if you want all the figures, you might be a little gun shy until they're all announced.
Absolutely. I liked your thought on, if space was an issue or budget was a challenge, or you just like the movie but you don't need a Hot Toys proper version of everyone, this partnership with this SoFi figure company, this Jumbo version that only has 6 points of articulation, so he's very much just a kind of a power pose figure, does give you all the small characters. And I thought maybe some spoileriness in this as well, because to me this looks like the the Silver Surfer is working with the Fantastic Four against Galactus, in my opinion, but hard to say. But it also now shows that they're gonna likely fight him in the film, unless it's just an action figure coolness. So a little hard to say. The other piece, Adam, that I thought was a little spoilery, and I mentioned this in my solo video on this, was the Franklin. So up till now, I from the trailers that I have seen, and I usually stop watching trailers after about the second version, because I don't want too much to be spoiled for me. I feel now that I know for sure that this is Franklin Richards, that really unlocks for me what the potential of the future of Marvel Cinematic Universe looks like, because Franklin is one heck of an Omega level character, especially as he gets older. And it'll be interesting to see what they do with it. It also, to me, gives some new meaning to the title First Steps, because is those first steps in relation to Fantastic Four out there as a team, or Baby Franklin taking his potential first steps into what will become the MCU. So I thought that was interesting. And I wanted to show this picture as well, because again, it's not that I don't mind the hair by any stretch, but there was a bit of a deadness to her look, in my opinion. She's got the really bright blue eyes, but in reality, in her real person self, they're beautiful and they're really vibrant and lifelike. Vita, actually, you called it out to me in our chat the other day when we were laughing back and forth, and you said this reminds you almost of a Twilight representation of her. She's been bit by the vampire, and now her skin is going to glisten, but not necessarily all that lifelike. Whereas the Thing, he's got this crazy vibrancy and brilliantness in his eyes in this sculpt, and I think that it really looks lifelike. Oh my god, considering it's a rock character, wild. So Jim, Vita, tell us how you guys thought. Vita, I'll start with you first. What were your thoughts when you saw the Fantastic Four figures popping up this week? No Johnny Storm yet, just a little bit of a tease of him. And was there one that stood out to you, or does it have to be that you love the film before you're willing to commit to these ones? What are your thoughts?
100% I need to love the movie before I commit. And I think this would be a hard one as well. I don't feel like I could get just one character on its own in this specific one, just because they are family, they close knit group, and for me just getting just one or the other, you can't get Jisoo without Mr. Fantastic, just her and the baby, she's a single mom. It's just it doesn't work. Come on, you have to then at least have Mr. Fantastic together. But I
mean, not that there's anything wrong with single moms, but just in case there's any watching, but but I know what you're saying.
I'm coming across horrible here, don't I?
No, not at all. I'm just teasing.
But yeah, I think it would be a tough one. I would probably I would like to get them all. In a sense, I loved when I saw the Galactus, I was like, oh my god, the size of it, this is mad. It wouldn't fit anywhere in our room currently, unfortunately.
You have to have a desk.
I quite liked Pedro likeness. I didn't think it was that bad. But when you had that picture having him as Joel, as Mr. Fantastic, and then the movie poster, it made me look at both of the sculpts, and I'm like, neither of them that good. Both of them need some improvement. Going to the Sue Storm, for me she looks a lot like a Twilight vampire in these pictures. She doesn't look alive. She looks very her skin looks
she looks lifeless.
Yeah,
she's gone white.
Basically. She's she's cold, looks cold and unapproachable kind of thing, and the eyes a bit. They look, I don't know, the eye shape just throws me off as well. I quite like the hairs, like the hair sculpt is good. I like, as you said, Ben, like the hair being behind her ear.
It's just different,
And
right?
it, yeah, and for a change, I'm not hating on a sculpted hair, because I'm always like the one to say no, Ruth, it looks more realistic and all. But in this specific character, like this pose hair, I think the hair looks really, really good. But the sculpt definitely needs some improvement. And I also like, I wasn't sure, but like in certain pictures, like the body proportions for me like were off compared to the like movie stills. But like in other ones, then they seemed fine. So again, I need to see the movie to completely like judge this part. So I'm not like sure yet. But yeah, most likely if I would get them, I would. It would be the big purchase because I don't know. For me, just because they are family, they have to like come together at this point. But
Absolutely.
I'm excited for
I agree with you on the
definitely want to see
proportions.
the movie.
I agree with you on the proportions too, because like the actress Vanessa Kirby, she's definitely got a much longer torso than this figure
That's what I was
shows.
saying. Yeah.
I agree with that. Yeah, I think
Just
that's
push the
that's
belt
100%.
down.
Yeah, and
Probably
maybe
all,
if you
probably
can,
all he
right?
needs. Yeah.
Also, the posability of this Sue specifically looks really sus. Like, I don't know if it's just the person who posed it or what's going on with the legs, but like they're bow-legged and weird. Like, very odd foot positioning. I don't know if it's the figure that's struggling to pose or just the person who posed it. I think the other criticism here, Vita, that I would have added with Vanessa here, or the invisible woman, is that she's got no invisible parts. Now, obviously, we haven't seen the film yet. When I think about Jessica Alba's Invisible Woman, she like goes invisible everywhere at one point, right? And I said like if they didn't want to give her kind of like a translucent head sculpt or something like that, then I think it would have been cool even to have interchangeable hands that look like they're see through, or just something that just adds a little bit more to her invisible power than just her ability to create shielding. But again, that's all we've really seen from the trailer so far. Maybe we'll get another variant of this girl at some point. Like, who knows? I just think she's the one that showcases her powers the least. Especially considering they went in on the Pedro and giving him stretchable arms and legs, right? Or, well, not stretchable, but looking like they're stretchable. Obviously it's basically a statue. So, yeah, fair. Great thoughts, Vita, for sure. Great breakdown. Jim, what do you think, bud, in terms of this? Vita says she might be all in. That kind of permission is pretty wild, if I'm being honest.
It's dangerous mission.
Yeah, that's right. What was your excitement level when this popped up this week? Was this something you were pretty stoked about? Was there anything that stood out to you? Something you really loved or really disliked? Tell us about it.
Well, I'll address the film first. I'm really excited for the film. I like the what we've seen trailer-wise. Seems like some early reviews are coming out quite positive as well.
Yeah.
So I'm quite hyped up for this. I'm really looking forward to it. My Fantastic Four knowledge is limited to the films, not the 2015 one, but the ones with Jessica Alba and stuff in it.
2005.
God, they're old. We're old. I like those films. I
20 years.
grew up with them, so I enjoyed that. And obviously the animated show as well. Watched that a lot as a kid. Comics, not so much with Fantastic Four. So I'm kind of going into this with relatively fresh eyes, I suppose, with not much knowledge on their background. Now the figures, I like the. I think they did a good job for the most part. I think you're right on Sue. I think she needed to have at least a swap out body similar to Pedro, just showcasing some of that invisibility. You can't have the invisible woman and she's not invisible. It does seem.
Somebody told me you could take somebody told me you could take the head sculpt off, and boom, there you go. She's invisible. I'm like, well, okay,
Hands
fair
off, I
enough.
suppose.
Yeah, got me there. Hate to see it.
That's a cheeky workaround.
Yeah.
Also, Adam's right. The baby looks creepy.
Super
that's
creepy.
Definitely, I would leave
Super
that in
creepy.
a box accessory. I have no clue about this character either. This.
Then you'll hear voices from the loft.
Yeah.
You'll hear crying. And you'll be like,
He
what's
can-
going on?
Yeah.
Franklin
Franklin
around probably as well, right?
Franklin can manipulate reality. Like he's like crazy powerful.
Yeah, don't leave him in the box. He won't be happy.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. Bite your arm off, man.
Sounds that way.
Yeah.
You might find him somewhere else.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's
100%.
disturbing. As for what you're saying, I actually agree with. Actually, I liked what Adam said about you could just get Galactus, and that's the whole film represented there. Because you even get a Silver Surfer, which is something that they've not
Yeah.
shown that they're going to do yet, which I found a bit surprising because they've gone quite deep. I would have thought Silver Surfer would be something people would be clamoring for, but maybe just the design being what it is would be a bit difficult. But if I loved the film, I would be happy with just the Thing, just because he's so vibrant. As you
Same,
guys were
dude.
talking
Same.
about earlier, he
I'm
looks
thinking
so
the same
good
thing.
as well.
Yeah.
They've done a
Yep.
really good job sculpting in that the Rock body, and I like that they've gone for seamless arms. I would probably pose him without the top as well, because again, you just get more of
Absolutely, yeah.
that Rock body goodness.
You're
Yeah.
topless.
I wonder how hard it's going to be
Yeah.
to put a shirt on. You know what I mean? Like how actually
wonder that.
challenging
Is it gonna be
will
zipped?
that be? Yeah, right. Exactly. Well, or like even Velcro maybe. The backside,
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
agree with you
that's
though, Jim. I'm thinking exactly the same thing. I don't know if I need all four if they give us all four, but I think I'll definitely get a Thing just to represent a piece of the Fantastic Four, and maybe a Silver Surfer to go along with it or something like that. And I was gonna joke earlier with Johnny Storm because in the trailers that I have seen, he's going after the Silver Surfer. Maybe he comes with a Silver Surfer baby or something that they can pair with Franklin or like who knows, little baby Silver Surfer. I love to see it. So, great thoughts there. Was there anything that you would say that was something that you would want to change or want to see improved? Like, was it just the Vanessa Kirby likeness? Was it Pedro? Anything that you'd want to see improved before the figures come out?
I was low-key disappointed that the Mr. Fantastic wasn't basically a Stretch Armstrong style
Yeah,
thing
okay.
where he
Fair.
could stretch out.
Yeah.
But no, I think they did a good job. The likeness could use some tweaking, and I think she's a bit colourless. And it's the wrong colour blonde, right, for her hair as well. She's not that white blonde,
Yeah.
is she?
It's like a
So
platinum blonde on
that's
the figure
something-
almost, eh?
Yeah, so that's something.
Let's
they
see
could-
here, yeah.
The knowledge.
platinum blonde.
Platinum
But what's
blonde.
weird is
Don't
that
worry about
picture on the right doesn't look like her at all. She doesn't look like that. She looks more like the
No,
figure,
yeah.
I think.
That's-
You think so?
If you showed me those two and asked me who they were, I wouldn't know that one on the right is. It looks really badly airbrushed.
Doesn't look really
like,
airbrush.
doesn't look like her to me.
The nose is
She-
the wrong shape as well
yeah,
in both
the,
of them.
The,
So
the Hot
like,
Toys one
Yeah.
does look kind of very reminiscent of her in the Mission
Those
Impossible
buttons
film.
are wrong as well.
oh my god, I
yeah.
loved her in Mission Impossible.
But the one on the right just doesn't look like her. I wouldn't know. I wouldn't be able to tell you who that was if
Fair.
that was just
That's
that
fair.
head on its own.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cover your face there, Pete. It's
that's okay.
silly streaming. I'd love to see it. I was going to immediately leave right now because I was pretty much over it. But X-Men Supreme here with a $5 super chat. I think maybe I will stay here. Let's see. Maybe I'll stay.
5. I'll stay.
Thanks, X-Men, buddy. I appreciate you, man. He says, I might get Aunt Petunia's favorite nephew, the ever-loving blue-eyed Thing. Absolutely, dude.
I tell you what, Ben,
Absolutely.
why don't you just move me up? Everyone else is gone.
Ah, that's true. Yeah, there you go. There we go. You'll love to see it. Yeah, tell us. Sorry, Jim. Was that your whole take? I didn't want to cut you off,
Oh
buddy.
yeah.
Is that
No, that's
that's
was
good?
pretty much everything. Yeah.
you
No,
feel
you're good.
you feel good? Is that your system? Love to see it. Mr. Pete, tell us what your excitement level
Can
is
you-
for either the
can
film
you go
or the
to the-
figures here.
Picture with all four of them.
Mhm.
So just first of all, I'm very excited about the film. I've read some good things. People saying that it's really good. I'm going to see it on Saturday, so I'm looking forward to that. I think I'm going to really enjoy it. In terms of the figures, I was interested to see them, be solicited and go up for pre-order, but I'm not over, and this is possibly to do with design choices for the movie as much as anything else. I don't like the fact that their costumes don't match. I think that's really odd. Like, I mean, when they designed the costumes, did they all get to draw their own, or did I find it weird that, particularly with Mr. Fantastic, that he hasn't got any white around his neck or on his shoulders. Looks odd to me. The Invisible Woman one looks like the neck piece is like the Scottish from the motion picture. It's that kind of that ribbed kind of bit there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is very true.
It
Very
is.
true.
It
Good
is.
call.
So I don't like that. I know it's obviously that's movie accurate, but I don't like the fact that their outfits don't match. I find that a bit odd. I don't like the Pedro sculpt. I think I would be interested in Ben Grimm. The one with the beard is very odd, and obviously they're going to have that in the movie. But
I'm wondering how they're going to work that into the story. Like, how do you grow a rock beard?
Yeah. Any of you guys ever seen the movie Return to Oz from the 1980s? It's like a really dark sequel to. Check out the Gnome King. Google the Gnome King
okay.
Return to Oz, and that's what he looks like with that beard. Very odd. I think other than that, he looks great. I would consider buying on his own. If you can you go back to full body shot of him?
Oh, there we go.
I don't like the fact that he's clearly the bottom half of him is not going to have this sculpting and stuff. So you can't. In the classic comics, he's basically just got a pair of Y fronts on. You can see the legs, you can see the feet. There's no reason on earth why this guy would wear boots over rock feet. So I don't, I don't like that. Again, that's a style, that's a movie choice. I don't like it. I think if that was all, sculpted underneath, and he was just in his little pants, he'd look amazing. But I think even like with the top off, I just think the bottom half just looks clunky. Like, why would you wear boots over rock feet? So again, none of it blows me away. He's kind of figure that I might just pick up just for interest's sake, because when you get a figure like that, it's just so cool to unbox, and they're so huge, like the Hulk, Thanos, stuff like that. So I could see myself kind of just picking it up on a whim, but whether or not I'd keep him long term, because who would I pair him up with? Very excited for the movie, but I think not really in terms of seeing them like this in this form on the shelf. Doesn't really. It's not something that I'm sort of desperate to kind of recreate. But I think I agree with you. I like the fact that we're getting these figure solicitations on or around when the movie comes in, so you're kind of capturing that hype, which has got to be good business for them. I think obviously inevitably you're going to get some. We don't know why they haven't shown Johnny Storm. It could be that there's a secret Chris Evans head sculpt in there.
Can you imagine?
There might be a spoiler thing, but they've done that in the past, and they've just blacked out the like. So it is a bit odd.
Mysterio with obviously Jake Gyllenhaal head sculpt, but
and the some of the Endgame stuff, like the weapons, like the
Right.
So they've done that before, so it is a bit weird. Ron Eno's the Gnome King.
Yep.
So it's a bit strange, and obviously I think you'd want to be able to, if you're going to collect the set, you need to make sure that there's not going to be something come up wrong with him. That's what he looks like normally, but there's a scene where he comes out of the rock, and he's made of rocks, and he looks just like the
Gotcha.
But yes, that's weird. I don't think anyone would be using that beard sculpt.
Not unless it's like a really cool part of the movie, because that's the thing, right? It's like if there's some kind of cool story element to it, that's like, okay, that's actually really fun. I'll use that now more. Then maybe. But
I guess so.
But
it's whether or not whether you're one of these people that wants to represent an actual scene in that movie, or they want a more classic look, I suppose. If Ben Grimm has only shorts on during the movie, I'll be disappointed that we won't be getting that. Yeah, I mean, that could come later. So I think from what I can see, a decent job based on what's going to be on screen. I think even if I love the movie, I'm not in for these guys. I don't have room for a team of 4 figures. I just about managed to squeeze the Ghostbusters in. And none of them are anywhere near the size of this guy. Yeah, pleased for people if they're getting them, and I think hopefully they'll solicit the all the shots of Johnny Storm, so you know that you're safe, that you're going to get all 4 of them if that's what you want to collect. Because heaven forbid that they end up not releasing him for some, it can't even be an image rights thing because they've got the head sculpt in that picture, so maybe they're still working on the flame statue or something.
That's right. Well, and some people will have this HasLab Galactus as well already, so that might be one that people just skip, right?
Yeah.
The interesting thing about these figures is, even if we really love the film, people might hesitate to get them, but these figures are probably going to come out around the time that Avengers Doomsday hits, which is December of next year, 2026. Mm-hmm. So you could like them, you like Fantastic Four, but then you could see Doomsday and you're like, oh my God, I want to have these figures. So then, it'll be interesting to see if there's a run on getting these then when they come out.
Well, I suppose the other thing is that they'll have completely different suits. That's a given because of the merchandising thing. So then you'd be like, well, actually, I want the suits from this one and not that one. And it might be that Ben's in his pants in the next one, but not in this one. So I don't know. I think the Galactus thing is cool. It makes me think of I don't know if you guys as a similar thing. There's an Iron Studios Tiamat the Dragon that's got all of the animated Dungeons and Dragons kids fighting it. And I'd love that. It's a huge thing. But again, you feel like you're kind of representing the whole show because you've got all the heroes battling this giant thing. So I can kind of see the appeal in that.
Absolutely.
Be interesting to see how much he is.
We got Canvas X Collectibles here with what's up, chat? Danny Parks here, dude. You keep changing your name. Yeah, I keep changing my slide, and he keeps changing it again. But that's a badass name actually, and I like that logo, dude. Good to see you, man. I hope you're doing really well. I got to meet Danny in San Antonio a couple years ago. Very good guy. Very, very good guy. Happy to have you here, buddy. Well said, Pete, as well, by the way, just with regards to the whole setup here. I think overall, Collection Obsession says it best for me. If the movie stinks, then I'll probably get the Thing. I think I'm probably in on the Thing either way. I think either way, that's going to be the one figure I get, whether I love the movie or don't. I saw a spoiler, well, not a spoiler, but like an IGN article today that's, fully confirming that Mr. Fantastic is going to lead the Avengers in Avengers Doomsday. So kind of like you were saying earlier, Adam, it might get to the point where we don't buy them right now and then we see Avengers Doomsday and we're like, that's like that Captain America effect, right? It's like, oh shit, well now we definitely need, Reed Richards, right? So, but at the same time, Vita and I talked about it earlier. Just because it's cool now doesn't mean there's not going to be a better one down the line. And since I don't love that Pedro sculpt for Reed, I could have bet that they'd give us another figure at some point with a slightly better likeness. It's just like it's the slow drip of toy companies. You'll love to see it, right? So, but guys, well said, all the thoughts today. Let's wrap it up there. Once again, Hall of Nut Armor, I should say. Any of the channel members, you guys are progressing through the ranks, using all the emojis in the chat with us today. I want to say a special shout out to our channel members here in a minute, but before I do, Mr. Pete, anything coming up for you in life, good sir, that you are looking forward to in the coming week?
I'm looking forward to I'm going on holiday next week. I'm going to Italy next week. So
Nice.
First time there. So only for a short break, but we're staying in Florence. We're going to go down to Rome for the day. So excited for that. Show wise, I think we're going to look at trying to get an OFAC out the week after that. So it'll be the first full week of August. And also I've been talking with Aaron about getting on one of his live rants if Jim can come up with a date or something, but because we've not done a
sign me up too. I can use my British accent. I've been holding it for a while.
Are you sure? Have I heard this? Yeah. Is it any better than Class's efforts?
It sounds something like this.
Oh right, he's going and oh no! Oh, it's an upset with the nuts. Truly devastating.
Yeah, please don't.
Something like that.
I do remember that now. Yeah. So if we're a Nut King, does that mean that we get Ghostbuster, Deadpool, Batman, Spock, and Wolverine. If it's been
Everything
a year.
every level you're up to. So
Plus,
if you've
look at that! I've got 6 stickers coming with the Let's
you
Get
got 6
Nuts one
stickers
as well.
coming. Plus, I'm going to give
Beautiful.
you anybody who's been a panelist will automatically also get the larger version of the Let's Get Nuts sticker.
Wow, beautiful.
Yeah. So this is on this reflective paper. There's only 50 in this bag, and we've had just under 50 people be panelists. So of the people who have been panelists, you guys will get a special Let's Get Nuts sticker.
I'm looking
for
forward
you,
to my
and then
special little
we'll
black
do a batch
envelope
too.
then.
So there you go. There you go. But dude, thanks for
Lovely.
being here as always.
Yeah, really
Jim.
enjoyable. Yeah, thanks.
Jim, Vita, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much for being back, staying up late. I know it's late for you guys there, your time, but and Pete as well. But thank you so much for being here always. Anything coming up for you guys on your channel, on your Instagrams? Anything that you're excited about coming up?
Not a whole bunch on YouTube. I'll try and get the Paul Trades review out probably next week. I said the same thing last week and I still haven't done it, so we'll see. That's the goal. And yeah, just check out my Instagram, obviously Vis's Instagram as well, because we're more active on there. We do a lot of figure photography and stuff like that. So yeah, check us out on there. Anything you'd like to add?
No, I think you said it all.
Vita's
Thanks
going to
for
be the
having
most
us on.
popular streamer here pretty soon, I think. I've seen a lot of other channels requesting her her presence, so
Nobody
I feel
wants
very...
just me anymore. It's just like, oh,
Oh, just you, Jim. Okay, yeah. Well, let you know.
well,
We'll come-
you know, well,
We'll come back
that's
to you,
right.
yeah.
No, you guys freaking crushed it. You guys crushed it today. Thank you for being here. Quick hello to Valkyrie Magnus, says he'll catch the stream later. Good to see you, buddy. Hope you're doing well with the family and all the things. And yeah, thanks for being here, guys. Definitely appreciate you. Mr. 1 Adam 12th, you good sir. You had your mom's birthday today.
Mom's birthday,
daughter's
yeah.
graduation there a little bit ago. You had Superman twice. Anything coming up for you, good sir, on channel? Anything you're looking forward to this week?
Yeah, I'm getting Hera and from
nice.
Ahsoka and the Airborne Trooper. One's coming Wednesday, the other one's coming Thursday. So I'm hoping to get those, and if I can wrestle up Emily to do an unboxing for one or both of those by the end of the week. That'll be up there. You can also check on my channel. I have a quick unboxing of the McFarlane Superman here. My thoughts on this little piece of plastic. Check that out. And other than that, if you're doing a show next Sunday, I'll be there.
Absolutely. I will try. It is hard to be consistent every week in the summertime. I will be honest, but
It is.
But yes, always trying to be here to especially give value to everybody who are paying members and everything now. Back when like 7 people watched every week and I didn't have any channel members, I was like, it's fine. I won't do it this week. Now I'm like, I better do a show. So that's the goal. I should be here, tentatively, but I'll always post it a couple days in advance so you guys know that will for sure be back on Sunday. But Adam, thank you for always being here, man. I definitely appreciate it and love your takes as always. And that voice gets me every time. Gets me all excited about all the comic stuff that we talk about, dude. So you guys are the best. Let's say a quick thank you to all of our Classy Nuts and Nut Kings. We got under the Classy Nuts category, Elvin J, Honest Hansel, Money Mendez, Harry Dempsey, 6 Scale Mafia, 1 6 Figure Focus, Parks Industries, King Dingaling, Jose G. Hernandez, The Real Tex Conway, Collection Obsession, The Movie Canon, Figurecraft, Jim Collector, Don Maton, Alex Serrato, Pop Culture Relics, Daniel S.C., Ryan Smith, Collector Joey, Sam Gist, Rachel Miller, Mike and Callie, Figure in a Bubble, Doguito, Blurred Dad Life, Alex Serrato, Pliskin Incorporated, Andreas IB, Earth 616 Collector, Tony Tom, Saphira Cosplay, Aaron Broverman, Big Rib, as Dean would say, Big Dog Bound One, Akira, Monroe Corbeil, Stoned Capybara, Vita, aka Her Geeky Side, Phil DeBurn, Figure Poser, and then under the Nut Kings we've got SpongeBob SquareBalls, miss that guy, Collecting Weekly, The Batman, 12-Inch Moose Dream, X-Men Supreme, Peter Cass, Valkyrie Magnus, Ron E, 1 Adam 12, 6 Scale Collector, Sith Scale Collector, apologies Mike, OG fan when Star Wars was just Star Wars, Manny Fresh, 369, Trevor Weed, and Tijuana Mike, aka King Churro. And then, of course, we got our newest channel member today. Let's see, scrolling right back up there. Of course, Mr. L. Walker. Sorry, I forgot, buddy. Couldn't. I was like a lot of folks today. So, but love you all. Thank you so much for being channel members on the Ben Thomas Show. Of course, if you are here and you are new to the channel, this is the Ben Thomas Show. We do Let's Get Nuts every Sunday. I give videos as they come up throughout the week. I try to be as fast to them as humanly possible while still being objective. But if you guys haven't had a chance to like the video today or subscribe, please consider doing so. If you end up becoming a channel nut king, if you are interested in receiving some of our badass stickers, please, once you have become a nut king, scan this code, get your information in so that I can get this mail out done. My goal is to try to do one large mail out, not 30 throughout the week. So to the best of our ability, let's do that if we can, guys. But all of that to say here, let me just get my rollout ready for us. Vita, I think it's gone without saying today that we got nuts. Thanks for watching, everybody. Love you, faces. We'll catch you guys on the next one.
Wow, what a great movie. Be sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Because subscribing makes you feel good.
Where should I go? What should I do? Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn. It's gone. It's all gone.